6:04, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, off and running. Brian here with you, John LaBeouf producing, getting you ready for a Thursday show. Oh, man, so much going on right now, y'all, but it's all like little bits and pieces, right? We are going to cover as much of it as we can as the show wears on. No guests slated right now for the first hour. We were supposed to have somebody on about the inauguration, but they had to bail at the last minute. We're looking to reschedule that hopefully for tomorrow. In our second hour, we got Adam Knapp and Barry Erwin joining us at 7:15. Looking forward to that conversation. Big announcement yesterday about C100 and CABL joining forces. We'll cover that at 7:15. Crimestoppers is up at 7:35. Is it going to snow next week? Dr. Josh Eachus joins us at 8:15. And then yesterday, the Jazz Fest lineup came out. We'll talk with Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1 at 8:35. Right now, though, we start your show off with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
Lawmakers and experts met at the Capitol yesterday to discuss drone control laws in the state as part of the Louisiana Advanced Aviation and Drone Advisory Committee, the LADAC. Oh, that's what the acronym is. There's been a number of drone sightings in California, New Jersey, and we've had some here in Louisiana, so members say this committee needs a little bit of attention right about now.
Number 4.
One person was taken to the hospital in critical condition after a shooting on Red Oak Drive, according to the Baton Rouge Police Department. Officials said the incident stemmed from a domestic dispute. The victim is an adult male.
Number 3.
Final law enforcement officer facing criminal charges in the 2019 death of motorist Ronald Green. Former Union Parish Deputy Chris Harpin pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor simple battery charge yesterday, a day after federal prosecutors said they wouldn't bring charges in the case. Civil lawsuit over Green's death following a traffic stop is still pending.
Number 2.
A Zachary Elementary School teacher is one of more than 300 educators across the country, and 5 here in the state of Louisiana, honored with the Presidential Awards for Excellence in Mathematics and Science Teaching. The recipient, Copper Mill Elementary teacher Regina Beard, was bestowed the honor on Friday. She teaches 5th grade science as well as 6th grade robotics and STEM.
Number 1.
Louisiana residents who subscribe to streaming services and television providers will now pay 10% sales tax on those services. The new tax, which went into effect on January 1st, was passed as part of Governor Landry's widespread tax plan that legislators voted on in a special session back in November. What's trending there, John?
Well, TikTok plans to shut down its app for U.S. users Sunday when a federal ban on the social media platform could come into effect. Inside sources have told Reuters.
Yeah, the news service. It's kind of fun on TikTok right now.
Yeah,
because everybody's making fun of it. It's like, where are we going next? What are we doing?
The TikTok.
There's a lot of hi, I'm the Japanese spy that was assigned to you 4 years ago. No, Chinese spy. Sorry, right. Chinese spy who was assigned to you 4 years ago. And just there, in pure TikTok fashion. It's bittersweet, but it's making fun of it like everything else.
Handling it the best they can.
Yeah.
That's what we do, man. There's humor and everything. President Joe Biden gave his farewell address to the nation last night.
We're going to cover this at 6:25. Got some audio from it. It was what you'd expect from a Joe Biden speech. Taking credit for everything that's happened over the last 4 years. If it happens under your watch, you take credit for it, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like being a head coach of a football team,
right?
Whether you did it or not, it happened under your watch. But there were a couple things where he went down a rabbit hole on that we'll talk about. Let's just save it for there. I don't want to spoil it right now.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to just go off, but let's stick to format. Let's stick to where we're at for this segment.
Sounds like a plan. Hey, the lineup for the 2025 New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival was announced yesterday. As we speculated earlier this week, though, Pearl Jam will be one of the headliners.
Yep. Love
really
that.
Cool stuff. Along
Love
with, of course, Dave Matthews Band, Luke Combs,
So
Lenny
many good
Kravitz,
ones. So many good ones.
Santana.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's going to be pretty great.
And of course, we can't forget New Orleans natives. I mean, Harry Connick Jr. taking the bangers, man.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yeah. We're going to
Trombone
break down the
Shorty.
whole thing at 8:35.
so good.
But yeah, it's very, very impressive lineup announced yesterday.
Yes, indeed.
All right, just coming up on 6:11 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're gonna have to take a break here in just a minute. After that break, we will dive into sports. What in the world got into the New Orleans Pelicans? Back-to-back wins. We'll cover that and get you ready for the NFL weekend. That's all next, right here on Talk 107.3. I just sent you a cut from Lamar Jackson. I forgot to send it to you before the show. In this segment. No, I don't have a cut because I wanted to get Graffinini and I just ran out of time. Coming up on 6:15 to Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. It is sports time. The New Orleans Pelicans are now 10-32 on the season. That sounds awful, yes, because it is. However, the Pels have put up back-to-back wins, beating the Dallas Mavericks last night on not just back-to-back wins, but on back-to-back nights. So they pick up a 119-116 win over the Mavericks. For the Pels, they were led in scoring by DeJounte Murray, who had 30. Trey Murphy had 24. Trey Murphy also had 10 rebounds. Trey Murphy also had 3 blocks. We're going to hear one of those in just a second. Also in double figures for the Pelicans, Jordan Hawkins had 12. Javonte Green had 13. Vez Misi had 12. And C.J. McCollum had 11. The Pels, as they are moving towards getting healthy again, hopefully can string together a few wins here and there and maybe right the ship, turn things around a little bit. It is beyond an uphill battle for them, to be sure. This game came down to the wire last night, and it was Dallas had the ball with just a few seconds to go. And let's hear from Todd Graffinini on the Pelicans radio network on how Trey Murphy shut that down.
Inbound to Hawk. Boy, we got a break. Hawkins picked up his dribble. We throw it away. Najee to Dinwiddie. Blocked by Murphy!
Trey Murphy the third!
Get it to Hawkins!
Ball game!
No, it's not over yet. 1.5 to go.
God, I love Todd Graffinini. Just instant energy right in your veins. 119-116. Pels do get the win. I'm nowhere near getting excited about this team yet, as that just too many L's all in a row for the Pelicans. But you know what? If they can put together some fun basketball over the next couple months, I will dial in. It's not like was it last year where I fought and didn't want to be emotionally invested, and then finally got emotionally invested, and then it just came crumbling down. So at least this year we get to clock out early and watch just for an entertainment perspective and not a passion and emotionally invested perspective. Meanwhile, the NFL is getting ready for the divisional round in the playoffs. That would be this weekend. Of the matchups that are out there on the AFC side, you got the Chiefs and Texans. That's going to be on Saturday. Bills and Ravens on Sunday. On the NFC side, Lions and Commanders on Saturday. And then Eagles and Rams on Sunday. No doubt the Sunday games are being talked about a lot more than the Saturday games. And for a lot of folks, this Bills-Ravens matchup over on the AFC side is basically, I mean, the way it's being talked about is, hey, this is the best game you're going to get all playoffs, right? This is your Super Bowl before the Super Bowl. And it's not even the conference championship round. It's the divisional round. And the hype behind this game is very, very real. Lamar Jackson, the quarterback for the Ravens, really doesn't care about the hype.
Excuse me for everyone watching, but I really don't care who's watching. And to me, like the players, us players, we just trying to win. We really don't care like how people feel about it. We trying to go in there and just win. You know, that's a tough environment, tough team, offense, defense, special team. We just trying to go there and win.
So you don't feel any different as far as the build up to this matchup?
So I believe we already built up. You know, it's playoffs. It's not like we can go out there, lose a game, and then get prepared for another game. You know, it's win to go home. So we already like lit.
And they're going to need to stay lit until 5:30 on Sunday when they kick off. The way this schedule maps out, Saturday, Chiefs and Texans is at 3:30, Lions Commanders at 7. Sunday, you got Eagles and Rams at 2, Bills and Ravens at 5:30 to round out Sunday. And I believe all of the action is on our sister station, 104.5 ESPN. Hey, before we get you to the Fox Business Report, got to remind you about the folks over at Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com is the website, ParishBuilt.com. You know, I've been telling my story a good bit because I'm a super happy customer for Parish Construction and Roofing. But business owners, if you own a business with a warehouse, a commercial property, if you have a warehouse, you need Parish Construction and Roofing. They have got a product that they can put on your roof that will extend the life of it by the product costs about a third of a new roof, right? Extends the life by about double and more than that. I know you're not thinking about it right now because it's wintertime, but how hot does your warehouse get in the summer? You can help regulate temperature within your warehouse with this one product. I don't know the science behind it. I'm not going to try to know the science behind it. I just know I was talking with the guys at Parish Construction and Roofing yesterday. They were telling me all about it, and I was just amazed. So, started the website, parishbuilt.com. Do business with someone you know, Parish Construction and Roofing. Hey, good morning. What did I do with my coffee? Oh, there it is. Oh, this one's my traffic, right? Yeah, all right. So be a little more concise, not ramble like a moron. You. All right. That community king cake coffee isn't half bad. Yeah. Mardi Gras blend or whatever.
Yeah,
I like it because it's a dark roast, so it's going to have a little more pop.
Yeah.
But normally when they try to add like a flavor, it's just it's close to the flavor but not on point.
Yeah.
King cake's on point. A little bit heavier than normal volume on I-12 westbound coming in from Livingston Parish. I wouldn't call them full-on delays, but it is a little bit more slow going from Denham Springs, from Range Avenue, actually right before Range Avenue, all the way up to O'Neill. So rather than picking up speed after you get back on the interstate, you're going to be a little bit slower going all the way across the Amite River until you get to O'Neill Lane. Picks up after that and then slows down again once you get towards the 10-12 merge. I-10 westbound coming in from Ascension Parish looks good right now. 10 making its way through the city looks good, flipping around to go from west to east. I-10 eastbound coming in from West Baton Rouge Parish is wide open. Both bridges look good. I-110 looks good. Surface streets, only one accident to look out for, and I'm not 100% sure it's still out there, but it was left on the board, so I will report it. Highland Road at Rodney Drive. Now, this was up from about an hour and a half ago that was posted up there, but since it is still up there, let's go ahead and share so we can be on the lookout. Better to have the heads up than not, right? That's your look at traffic from the Shaw Bills Tire Traffic Center. .625 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Hey, Talk 107.3 is heading back to our nation's capital to celebrate Washington Mardi Gras. Join me and Gordy Rush Thursday, January 23rd and Friday the 24th as we broadcast live from the Washington Hilton for, of course, this show, Mornings with Brian Haldane, as well as a special afternoon drive show from 4 to 6 p.m. Our coverage is presented by Presley Wealth Management, Rev, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, and Restore the Mississippi River Delta. Looking forward to that. We got less than a week to go before we're wheels up. In fact, at this time next week, I'll be broadcasting live from Congresswoman Julia Letlow's hospitality suite at Washington Mardi Gras. I've got some more logistics to work out. I don't want to reveal all the plans just yet until everything is completely etched in stone. But past Washington Mardi Gras, we just post up in Congressman Graves' suite for the whole time. Well, Congressman Graves isn't there, and everybody's got a different schedule when it comes to like things like their hospitality suites and such. So we're going to be a bit on the move, moving from one place to another rather than just posting up in the same place the whole time. It should be a little more bit of back-end work, but a lot more good content and a lot more fun as we're going to be all over the place next week at Washington Mardi Gras. All right. Last night, President Joe Biden gave his final address, and, as you would expect, there were a lot of positives in it. Let's just go ahead and start off with him, making the general announcement about this being the last time.
This will be my final address to you from the American people from the Oval Office, from this desk as president. And I've been thinking a lot about who we are and maybe more importantly, who we should be.
He noted a number of successes within his presidency.
I'm so proud of how much we've accomplished together for the American people. And I wish the incoming administration success because I want America to succeed.
He talked about, I'm not going to go through all the individual sound bites, but he talked about planting the seeds now to where you're not going to be able to fully enjoy everything that he did until years from now and the like. But he did take on a more serious tone, a more ominous tone, to be sure, in laying out a warning for America.
Today, an oligarchy is taking shape in America of extreme wealth, power, and influence that literally threatens our entire democracy, our basic rights and freedoms, and a fair shot for everyone to get ahead.
Okay, first of all, I don't think there's anybody out there that doesn't agree, that won't at least acknowledge that in some form or fashion, we've had an oligarchy for years. Since the Industrial Revolution, there's been some level of oligarchy, right? Oligarchy, cabal, the elites, the 1%, whatever you want to call them. The people at the very top of the food chain have been at the top of the food chain for some time now. It's not new. It's not new. Now, we're seeing different people move into some of those roles. Okay. Is that what the concern is? The fact that, we've always had the unbelievably uber wealthy 1% have more than their fair share of political sway, more than their fair share of pull. They got a hook. Is it because it's different people now? Is it because specifically Elon Musk is involved? I don't know. I don't know what this particular cause of alarm is. Because on some level, in some form or fashion, there's always been the man or the men behind the curtain. There's always been that small group of people who have influence. They've been very less visible in the past. Is that the problem? The problem isn't necessarily that there are people pulling the strings. Or is the problem that we're now seeing some of the people that pull the strings? I don't want to make no bones about it. There's no pretending that it wasn't there before. The president also, he invoked President Dwight Eisenhower's famous farewell warnings of a military-industrial complex, raising alarms about the tech-industrial complex, making that side-by-side comparison. And that's why I want to ask, is it more a matter of it's not your friends this time, and that's why you're concerned? It's moved on to a different oligarchy? What are some of your thoughts? Let me know. We're all live on Facebook. Would love to have a little chat on Facebook while we are going to news on the air. Here comes ABC News on Talk 107.3. All right. When Adam Knapp and Barry Erwin call, one's going to be on the hotline, one's going to be on the regular line. Something that she said, or the voices in her head, calling Gloria. Why is Laura Branigan's Gloria in my head? Like, of every random 80s song out there, Gloria. Great. We're going to hear these cuts again. Back to back. We're going to hear these cuts right back to back. Shit. Troy says, don't be so hard on yourself, Biff. Oh. The day I'm not hard on myself is the day this show's going to suck. Like, honestly, yes, I beat myself up a lot but it's because I want better. I'm never, ever, ever going to be my biggest fan. I'm always going to be my biggest critic. Paisley. Oh, I don't have anything written down at 6:52 because the interview that I did for that spot sucks, and I'm not going to air it.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna wing it?
Yeah, I gotta find something else to do right there.
Okay.
I tried. Shut up. You know what? We might do. We might do this NCAA paying the women's basketball players thing.
Oh,
yeah, I don't know. Who the hell knows? Galen says most people can become millionaires using Dave Ramsey's approach. Yeah, but I mean, yes, 100%, and we should be on that path. But is a millionaire what it used to be? Does being a millionaire buy you any influence right now? All right, all eyes on next week for sure, but what's the forecast looking like till we get there? Yeah, but you're talking about on a personal level. I'm talking about the who's carving up the nation type of level. .638 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hey, don't forget Coach Kim Mulkey and the LSU Tigers are hitting the road to face Florida. Coming up Sunday at noon, you can hear the Tigers all season long in your home for LSU women's basketball. That would be Talk 107.3 FM right here. We're at 41 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge to start off your morning. You heard the story in news right there as we went into break from our news partners at the Louisiana Radio Network. Governor Jeff Landry testifying before the House Transportation and Infrastructure Committee yesterday, urging the new Congress to provide more federal dollars for an improved interstate system, including new bridges for both Baton Rouge and Lake Charles. Landry says a new Mississippi River Bridge in the capital city is desperately needed to alleviate congestion on I-10.
We need the federal government's help to basically eliminate that congestion, but more importantly, to help move those goods back and forth.
Landry says a modernized interstate system would boost the economy. He says a recent report found Louisiana will experience the third largest freight growth in the nation. Governor says connecting I-49 from Shreveport all the way down to New Orleans has been discussed since, for about 40 years now, since the 80s.
The completion of this project helps everyone in the middle states of America. And it also serves as a very important hurricane evacuation route. It has not been completed.
And because it's a hurricane evacuation route, I'm surprised it hasn't been completed. Because it's a completely different route than everything else. You think about getting out of New Orleans in a hurricane, either you're stacked up on 10, putting you across the Atchafalaya. You're trying to go due north, which puts you over the causeway going to Mandeville. Both of those can get bottlenecked pretty quickly. But if you had another outlet that allowed basically the West Bank to get out first, hey, hop on the 49 extender right there, right? It makes sense. We talk a lot about the new bridge here in Baton Rouge and the need for it. There's the state, within the state, we're moving forward on building a new I-10 bridge in Lake Charles. Tolls are going to help pay for the $2.3 billion project. However, Landry says if the state can receive more federal dollars, he can lower those tolls.
Help us secure additional funding so we can lower the toll on the commercial traffic that's going to flow over that bridge. The tolls that we are going to have to implement certainly are not what I would like them to be, and y'all can help.
Yeah, the tolls will range anywhere from $2.55 to $12.25 for commercial trucks, depending on their size and whether they have toll tags. Local motorists would only pay about 25 cents to cross that bridge, while automobiles from the outside the area would be about $1.25 all the way up to $3.75. So there's a lot of wiggle room within there. Definitely a different look for the Transportation Committee. Sam Graves is the chairman. He is from Missouri. And then I'm scrolling through the membership of the Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, and I mean it's pretty well spread out from across the nation. Of course, no representation from the state of Louisiana, which kind of stinks because that was one of the spots for Garrett Graves at a time where we have so many projects and needs right now. We had the guy in place who was not just on the committee, but was next in line to get bumped up if and when Sam Graves moves on as chairman. So this one kind of stings a little bit to worry that you're going to fall on deaf ears when you have nobody in Louisiana on that panel to hear you. And you got folks like Thomas Massey from Kentucky, who is a Republican but says no to everything under the sun. I can't, like, as I'm scrolling through, there's no state in the union that does not have need right now. And it makes it that much harder to convince them of how your need is different and your need is greater. And what we're looking at right now, I mean, it's, you know, if you're Jeff Landry and you say we need a new bridge in Baton Rouge and we need the federal government's help. Well, I mean, if I'm Addison McDowell from North Carolina 6th, or I'm Jeff Hurd from the Colorado 3rd. Oh, that rhymes. If I'm Dave Taylor from Ohio 2nd, I'm asking all these questions of how is your need any different than anybody else's? What makes Baton Rouge so special that you need a third bridge right about now? You already got two of them for one city that is, you know, as far as anyone can tell, you got two of them for one city that even if you build the third, how much traffic are you actually going to move from one bridge to another? We all know the answers to these questions. We do here locally on the ground here in Baton Rouge. We know the answers to these questions because as the committee was formed to do it here, when former State Senator Rick Ward was busting his hump to get things done, we learned about all this stuff. We got a lot of really, really good answers too. But you remember like the telephone game as a kid? Or grapevine or whatever you called it. You tell something to the person sitting next to you, who tells something to the person sitting next to them, and so on and so down, all the way down the vine or down the line. How many steps down the line from the arguments that Rick Ward made 3-4 years ago to where we are now, to where we're going to be when it's time to allocate funds, how much is going to get lost in the wash? That being said, the governor needs to make that trip a lot more. We need to be front and center as often as is humanly possible. So good on him for making the trip yesterday to go pitch Louisiana's case for those particular projects. The I-49 one surprises me. I really thought that would have been somewhere in the FEMA Homeland Security ether to say, okay, evacuating from a storm, it's absolutely needed. Evacuating New Orleans at all, it's needed. This is an emergency situation. So let's build this thing out. I mean, I know we're 20 years removed from Hurricane Katrina, but man, I still remember that gridlock like it was yesterday, that gridlock before the storm. You couldn't contraflow enough to get out of there. Another interstate artery would have been huge. We're at 644 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. we'll see what kind of dollars can shake out of it. I never want to let go of the possibility here locally about the bridge. They are still in the same spot that they were in a year ago. We're looking at 3 potential locations. Should have that narrowed down and hammered out, but you got to go inside the state capitol to find out where all the money went. Where are the dollars for it right now? So I might actually pick that conversation up tomorrow. Make that a topic for tomorrow. In fact, let me put a note right there. Yeah. Where are the funds for it right now as the governor comes home from our nation's capital? Oh, man, there's so much to cover right now. I'm hesitant to start in on the next topic. I wanted to talk about C100 a little bit right here, or the rebranded Leaders for a Better Louisiana. I tell you what, let's go ahead and start it right now. We'll tease it up and then get to it in our next hour. Next hour, Adam Knapp from C100 and Barry Erwin from the Council for a Better Louisiana are going to hop on the hotline at 7:15 to talk about yesterday's big announcement. The Committee of 100 for Economic Development and the Council for a Better Louisiana announced yesterday that they've joined in a merger to create a new organization called Leaders for a Better Louisiana, or just Better Louisiana. This merger unites 2 respected groups with deep-rooted histories of working to move Louisiana forward into a stronger force for political change focused on the future in the state. Leaders for Better Louisiana combines the influential business leadership of C100 with CABL's long-standing commitment to education initiatives, leadership training, and policy advocacy. Through this merger, Better Louisiana will serve as a unified voice for the future of Louisiana, championing economic growth and increased opportunities for the betterment of all citizens. The Adam Knapp, who was the CEO for Leaders for a Better Louisiana, moving over from his role at C100, he says, "We are at a unique moment in Louisiana's history. People want to see change and new approaches to solve our state's challenges. This merger gives leaders across the state the unique opportunity to lead that change and unlock Louisiana's potential." What I like about this move, and this is just the cursory glance, this is just the first draft, right? What I like about this move is twofold. Number one, the level of attention being paid to it. It feels like right now in Louisiana, we are all systems go for economic development, which is awesome. Since Susie Bourgeois took over at LED, everybody has been energetic and bold in wanting to move things forward. We had Lori Melanson from the Baton Rouge Area Chamber on last week. She's got a level of energy that just, you sweat being around her because you feel like you just ran a sprint. She's got a level of energy that is going to produce a lot of good here in Baton Rouge. And it wasn't that long ago, and we talked with Lori about this, it wasn't that long ago that the Baton Rouge Area Chamber decided, rather than being a traditional chamber, they were going to pivot towards more of an economic development approach. You got that. Now you got C100 combining with CABL to move towards more economic development projects as well. This is a time, not just in Baton Rouge, not just in Louisiana, but this is a time in the nation where everybody's kind of reviewing everything right now. This post-COVID world that we live in, where we all learned that, hey, maybe Silicon Valley doesn't have to be Silicon Valley. This world where, and we had Patrick Mulhern on yesterday, where we see that we can have a budding, bold and strong film industry in Louisiana. Doesn't have to be Hollywood. Silicon Valley doesn't have to be Silicon Valley. Hollywood doesn't have to be Hollywood. New York might have to be New York just a little bit, and Chicago might have to be Chicago just a little bit. But when you look at cost of living and cost of doing business everywhere else, man, it gets very, very tempting, very alluring for companies to say, hey, now's a good time. Throughout American history, now's a good time for us to think about relocating somewhere. And as we look at Monday, a new president's being sworn in, and what's to come in 2025, we couldn't be doing this at a better moment than we absolutely are. We're coming up on 650 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. We're going to dive into that a heck of a lot more next hour when Adam Knapp and Barry Erwin join us at 7:15. I just wanted to open it up right now, just kind of give the background on what's to come. All right, your money now. We'll check traffic. We will continue next right here on Talk 107.3. What was it? What was that? Oh. All right.
Yeah, I got kind of nervous.
Is TikTok really going to sell? Where did my news call go? Shoot.
Yeah, that's the question. I don't know. It's hard to believe that they actually would. Like, it's insane to think. Like,
I know.
this could be
I know. It made sense for them to say, hey, pound sand, we are who we are.
right.
If everybody wants you, why isn't anybody calling? All right, Galen. So Galen, that comment makes a lot more sense. You and I, but the oligarchy is who's in charge. Whether you're a millionaire or not, the billionaires have more sway over you. But no, it makes more sense when you explain it that way for sure. Byron says, I would argue that because of the energy production in South Louisiana, improving infrastructure is an important part of national security. Bro, when you mix those data centers in, think about that. What we just announced with Meta and then over in West Feliciana, that's big time. Good call, Byron. Oh. Yeah, no, the leaders for a better Louisiana. I'm going to call them the Better Louisiana team just so I could use the acronym BLT. Because that's just how simple I am between my ears. Right? Oh, let's you want to touch on Jazz Fest here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, cool. 10, 11, and 12, please. And then we'll do it again at 7:55.
All right.
Or no, I'll figure out something else to do at 7:55.
Okay.
We're probably, I'm not going to say it on the air yet, but I think Bullfish Grill's coming on for Foodie Friday tomorrow.
Well, dang.
Oh. Yeah, it makes more sense for us to do Jazz Fest now because Michelle's at 8:35, so it's a bigger gap in between covering it twice.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's good. Sounds good. Oh, yeah.
All right. Some of them need to not be the instrumentals. That's what I'm saying here. Some of them need to not be the instrumentals.
I know, but this is for you to sing along to, Brian.
Yeah, but like it's nobody wants to hear me sing.
No, I know
but
that.
like Mark Morrison, like everyone wants Mark Morrison. Man,
I'm going to do better, man. I'm sorry.
that's
Just, just let it ride.
you know how
hear that? So
no, I know.
smooth.
No,
No,
but
I
it's
know.
better with Mark Morrison.
It is better. When you hear the hook, you hear that.
Yeah. Well, when he kicks in right from the start.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Right.
Be like,
I know, and
when I try to tell, yeah,
Right.
I'm not gonna do it justice.
no, right. I
No.
understand.
It's like when you get your mouth all ready for like a glass of orange juice and you go to the fridge, there's no more orange juice. That's what the instrumental's like.
That's messed up.
I know. Oh man, I had my heart set on
Sorry.
that. Oh, like yesterday, I wanted an ice cream sandwich. No more ice cream sandwich.
Oh,
I know.
that's
I know.
the worst. So is it the
And
Neapolitan or is it just the
No, just straight
straight
vanilla.
Vanilla? Yeah. It's good stuff.
I don't know why either, because I had a piece of king cake yesterday. I don't need two sweets in one day. Nobody needs that. My fat butt doesn't for sure. Jazz Fest lineup came out yesterday.
Heck yeah, dude.
Yep. Pearl Jam, Dave Matthews, Luke Combs, Lenny Kravitz, Casey Musgraves. Those are a few of the headliners for the 2-weekend musical festival taking place at the fairgrounds. Of course, it starts April 24th. We'll run all the way through May 4th. Quint Davis says weekend passes are on sale now. Louisiana residents do get a discount.
This is a Louisiana party. The whole world is welcome to come. Come on in and join in our party. But we have to make sure that we take care of the local people.
So they haven't broken down stages, cubes, showtimes, all that other good stuff just yet. Davis says if you go to nojazzfest.com, you can find out which weekends the different artists are going to be performing.
We have 2 4-day weekends, and that means we have 2 Locals Thursdays. You can get a ticket for $50 to a Local Thursday if it's a Louisiana zip code.
By the way, this year's festival, I mean, it's basically every genre out there.
Harry Connick Jr., the Joan Jett, and Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, Santana, John Fogerty's Creedence Clearwater that we love. Diana Krall's a great jazz singer.
I was going through a lot of it. I mean, you get, the way they break it down when they introduce the acts, how you get the bigger acts with the more space between their names up top, and then the every year folks, the ones that are there all the time underneath. Top 3, your top 3, John. What are you looking forward to the most?
Oh, goodness. Man, I got to say Pearl Jam's up there. Luke Combs, though, man. Luke Combs.
Mm-hmm.
Man, honestly, Tank and the Bangers.
Yeah.
I know they're not as big of the artists here, but, man.
Well, no, but they are down
one
in
heck
New
of a
Orleans.
show,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're going to break this down a lot more coming up at 8:35. Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1 is going to join us. I'll get a few of her favorites as well, but the lineup's out there. Who are you looking forward to seeing? Hit us up on Facebook.
Even flew. Lil Wayne and the Roots? What?
Lil Wayne and the Roots, yeah. And the Roots.
Yeah. I'm sure
I
they'll
know.
be providing
I know.
the music, but yeah, man.
And so many that just have no interest in it all, though.
What about Cheap Trick, man?
That'd be...
Cheap Trick. Nice.
The Revivalists are really good. Trombone Shorty's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Like why is it I have zero? Santana is one of the greatest of all time.
Absolutely.
I have zero want to see Santana.
Do you feel like Taj Mahal and the
What, Taj
you
Mahal's coming?
yeah, Taj Mahal
Oh, shit.
and the Phantom Blues Band, yep. So what like Santana, do you feel like it's like, okay, your time has passed? Like
Yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, he hasn't put out a new album.
John Fogerty.
See that? I wonder how that's gonna. Is it almost gonna be like just karaoke? basically to his old stuff.
Essentially, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just some artists, you hate to tell them when they call it, but Cage the Elephant might be cool.
What do they do?
Ain't No Rest for the Wicked. They did oh man, they got a couple songs. Trouble's a really good song.
Okay.
Yeah, they got a couple.
Ooh.
The Wailers, Julian Marley. That's cool.
Ooh. Troy says if you've never seen Lenny Kravitz live, you should. Okay.
All right.
I've never, like...
I've been a Lenny Kravitz guy.
He's been to Jazz Fest a few times.
Yeah. I've just never really been... No doubt. I mean, phenomenal musician, but I just never...
Yeah. .705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Starting off your second hour at 39 degrees in Baton Rouge. We got a busy hour for you. C100 teaming up with CABL to make for the Better Louisiana team. They're not calling it the Better Louisiana team. I am, because I like the acronym. Adam Knapp, Barry Erwin going to join us at 7:15 to talk about it. Also this hour, the folks from Eye Care stop by for Crimestoppers. That's later on in the hour. Right now, we start off your second hour with top stories and trending.
Number 5.
All too familiar of a story throughout the winter. Crews worked a house fire off of Baton Rouge Highway early this morning. Happened off Kaufman Road near Scenic. Firefighters said the blaze was under control. There were no injuries reported. Officials said the home was being occupied, but there was no one present at the time of the fire. So There's no word on the cause of the fire yet either.
Number 4.
One person was taken to the hospital in critical condition after a shooting on Red Oak Drive, according to BRPD. Officials said the incident stemmed from a domestic dispute. The victim is an adult male.
Number 3.
The final law. I guess you got tired of it, huh? I mean, not to editorialize on a domestic dispute, but you got a domestic dispute and a man gets shot. I mean, that's. She wasn't going to hit back, but she hit back. The final law. I'm speculating. I know nothing about that situation. I'm just. That's the picture that was painted in my mind, and it's all that it is. It's not even allegedly. It's below allegedly. The final law enforcement officer facing criminal charges in the 2019 death of motorist Ronald Green, former Union Parish Deputy Chris Harpin, pleaded no contest to a misdemeanor simple battery charge Wednesday, a day after federal prosecutors said they wouldn't bring charges in the case. Civil lawsuit over Green's death is still pending.
Number 2.
A Zachary Elementary School teacher is one of more than 300 educators across the country, 5 right here in Louisiana, honored with presidential awards for excellence in mathematics and science teaching. The recipient, Copper Mill Elementary teacher Regina Beard, was bestowed the honor on Friday. She teaches 5th grade science as well as 6th grade robotics and STEM.
Number 1.
Louisiana residents who subscribe to streaming services and television providers will now pay a 10% sales tax on those services. The new tax, which went into effect on January 1st, was passed as a part of Governor Landry's widespread tax plan that legislators voted on in a special session last November.
Well, the TikTopolis is upon us, Brian. TikTok plans to shut down its app for U.S. users Sunday when a federal ban on the social media platform could come into effect. Inside sources have told Reuters.
Yep, so I don't know where to go now.
As in apps or just where to go as in
I need recommendations for a good TikTok replacement. Reels does not get it done. I don't know why.
Doesn't?
Don't know why.
I'm
not here for it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I've heard of one called Lemonade.
Lemonade?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't downloaded that one yet.
All right.
I know. So I'm about to get rid of Snapchat because that's just been in my background and I never use it.
Yeah.
Every so often a message will pop up from someone, and it's just spam because I'm not actively on it. Yeah. I'm 48 years old. I'm not 18. I don't need Snapchat. So I got to find something to replace TikTok because I need mindless scrolling through nonsense.
And you think those alerts on Snapchat are just to get your attention again? Like, hey, we're still here.
Yeah. No, they set up alerts. Yeah. Somebody posted something new somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, great. It doesn't involve me. I don't need to see an endless. You know what Snapchat's real problem is?
What's that?
When you look at a lot of the the videos that last more than 5 seconds or videos that don't come from your friends, there's too many commercials. They run commercials down the middle of the damn video. And it's like, if I wanted that, I'd go get that.
Anywhere you could get an ad.
I've already got a TV, pal.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Hey, speaking of TV, President Joe Biden gave his farewell address to the nation last night.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, mostly positive, except for the warning that we're under an oligarchy now, which a lot of us would argue we always have been, Joe, at least since the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah. The dangerous consequences of those in charge.
Yeah,
behind the curtain, right?
Why? So, and I asked this last hour, and when we had the soundbite at 6:25 was, is his concern over an oligarchy, or is his concern over it's a new oligarchy, so it's not your friends anymore?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's
right.
True.
If it's a new crop of people coming to town, if it's no longer the military-industrial complex, and now it's the tech-industrial complex. Well, now you got all these new kids involved, and there's got to be room for Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg and Jeff Bezos.
Man. You know what? In lighter news, Brian, the lineup for the 2025 New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival was announced yesterday, and as we speculated earlier this week, Pearl Jam will be one of the headliners.
Pearl Jam, Dave Matthews, Santana, Lenny Kravitz.
Yeah.
Troy pushing Lenny Kravitz over in the chat.
Yeah.
I saw that over on Facebook. You know what? Maybe I'm a little unfair. I was completely, when I saw Lenny Kravitz's name, completely apathetic. Maybe I need to give that a second look. I will give Troy the benefit of the doubt there.
No doubt, phenomenal musician. I just never gave his music that much of a chance. And, yeah. But
I tell you what, and we're going to talk about this with Michelle Southern at 8:35. Looking forward to that conversation.
Yes, indeed.
Because there's another band on there that really has my attention, but they're not on that top tier. There's one from the bottom half that really, really has my eye. So we'll talk about who that is and why at 8:35.
Looking forward to it.
We are due up for break. Actually, before we take our break, I can't throw that away. I need that story for later. Before we take our break, got to ask you if you've got your lunch plans yet. I know, 7:12 in the morning. You probably should have your lunch plans, right? No, maybe not. Might I recommend P.F. Chang's? They're right there off of Corporate Boulevard in Town Center. Look for the giant golden horse. And if you have not yet had the Golden Feast, I highly recommend it. It's a nod. Excuse me. It's a nod to Asian culinary tradition. Fried chicken and bubbles. All new fried chicken menu. Inspired by South Korea's celebration of the season's first snowfall, which marks a special cultural moment symbolizing renewal, romance, and connection, celebrated by gathering with friends and family to enjoy fried chicken and a glass of bubbly. And by the way, the glass of bubbly isn't the only bubbles you get. I won't spoil that surprise. It's called the Golden Feast. You can get the fried chicken, either like whole pieces of fried chicken, or you can get the bites that come along with the flight of sauces. 4 different sauces at different levels of sweet and heat. It's phenomenal. It's P.F. Chang's. Whoa, Carrie Bryson, you better watch it. Calling yourself an attorney like that.
Yeah.
Because Chuck McDowell will punch you.
He's coming for you. Like Debo on that bike, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
He's like, did I hear?
Oh, he gonna cry in the car.
How my grandmama tell you. Studio. All right, yes, sir. We'll have you on here just a few minutes. Thank you. Studio.
Got them both.
Yes, sir. We'll have you on here in just a few minutes. He's already on the other line. Yes, sir. Yep. 2 guys, 1 phone. Whoa. Wait. 2 guys, 1 line. Oh, man.
Make it 2 bands on the bottom half that I'm super duper looking forward to.
All right, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Can I just print this?
What, the lineup?
Oh, shit. Scroll down, Brian. There's more.
See, I took a screenshot yesterday when it was announced. I'm looking at, I guess, the actual, like, the flyer, I guess. Which one are you looking at?
I guess I'm looking at the flyer. No, it won't let me print it.
See, there's Joshua Redman. And at first, when I saw just Red Man, I was like, what? Red Man's going to be
Jeez. Let me print image, you jackass. I hate my computer. I'm sure it's not even my computer's fault. I just need someone to blame, and that's who it's going to be. Oh, where's my press release at? Shit. .717 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane. Rolling right along. Announcement made yesterday. C100 and CABL merged to launch Leaders for a Better Louisiana. Joining us now to talk about that from C100 and from CABL, we have got Adam Knapp and Barry Erwin. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome aboard. How are you?
Good morning. Good.
Glad to have you both on here. Okay, what led to this and how did it come to be?
Well, thanks for having us on,
Of course.
Brian. And great walk-up music, man. That was awesome. Funky boy. This conversation has been one that's been happening for many years, on and off, and Barry has been kind of a steward of a lot of those conversations. About a year ago, when I came over to the Committee of 100 from the Baton Rouge Area Chamber, we started having a conversation between us about how to kind of grow the impact of both of our organizations, and if there is a way to do that together. And, in business, you see companies grow through either organic growth or acquired growth or both. And this was an opportunity to in the nonprofit world, to try to scale our impact faster by putting our teams and our talents together.
In order to do that, though, well, you both come from two, completely separate sets. C100 and CABL are two, completely separate, let's call it skill sets. You bring two different things to the table. Merging those two things together, is this going to be seamless, or can we expect some growing pains?
I don't think it's going to be that much in terms of the growing pains. I think the structure of our organizations is different, or was different. Mm-hmm. Kind of the membership base is different. But I think in terms of the values and the issues that we worked on, the alignment on the types of things that are important to our members and to a committee of 100 members, I think you get, a lot of real solidarity there in that. So, yeah, it took a little while to kind of figure out the structure. How are we going to structure an organization of business executives like C100 and a broader-based organization like CABL? But, I think we figured it out. And, maybe growing pains, but, I'm not really anticipating a lot of that.
You know what? Before we get too far down the line here, let's go ahead and recap who y'all were before we start exploring who you are. So, Adam, start with you. For those who have been unfamiliar with C100, what is it and what does it bring to the table?
Yeah, thanks. So Committee of 100 started back in 1992 as a group of executives across the state who wanted to work together, nonpartisan, bipartisan, whatever you want to call it, but senior executives, CEOs, top leaders across companies, not their companies so much as them, putting in time and energy to help push Louisiana forward on specific projects. The idea has always been a rifle shot approach on an issue or two at a time, go deep on them and try to get them fixed and move to the next one. And that has continued all through this year. When I came on, we dove in on economic development issues with LED and the new administration to try to help improve the delivery of economic development in Louisiana, which has really been the priority focus of this organization over its 30 years.
And Barry, from CABL side?
Yeah, well, CABL's been around since 1962, so kind of we're the old people to the dance here. But it was really formed by a group of folks who wanted to make a difference in Louisiana in the 60s. They saw that groups like PAR had done all this great work with recommendations and ideas to make government better, but they weren't going anywhere. So they came together as CABL really to try and be an advocacy group for good government and for things that would improve the state. And, over a 60-year span, organizations change and go through transitions. And I think we're still at the heart of that is what we're from. And our big focus in recent years has been state fiscal policies, governmental ethics, and a big focus on education and at all levels. And so that's where we are. And I have to say, we also have this great leadership program called Leadership Louisiana. It's been around for 30-plus years and got about 1,600 alumni, and that's really a signature part of our work, too.
CABL has, or at least, publicly, always been, not always, but there's a lot of background in education there. Education kind of runs to the forefront. How much of that is going to carry over into the new role?
I think a lot. I mean, I think, Adam talks about this a lot, that, we talk about economic development, and we sometimes think, well, that's just about site selection and, incentive programs and all that. The truth is economic development is about having a state that businesses and people, feel good about coming to. And education is a key part of that. So I think for us, the education from early childhood all the way through higher ed and workforce are still going to be, a real focus of the work that we're doing.
Adam, how do you take what CABL does and make it a 1-2 punch?
Well, we hope it's actually what our incoming co-chair, a cardiologist up in Shreveport Bossier, Philip Roseman, says is like, this is an idea that's got to be 1 + 1 = 3, not 1 + 1 = 2, or it doesn't really make sense. And we think that's there. What we see in the work that Barry has been doing has been incredible. What we want to be able to do is scale and grow that impact faster, having a more aggressive focus on some of the policy issues that we've been collaborating on already, and then also continuing what we've been doing, over the last few years with Committee of 100 to help push economic development and fiscal policy issues at another level. The big thing that I think I want to go back to the question that you were asking Barry too is, CABL has been a trusted voice on good government issues, government accountability issues, and it's really been emphasized by kind of business leaders and supporters alike that that's an important service to the state to continue, and that phrase we wanted to hang on to as part of their name is really going to be the thing that we go by. This is for a better Louisiana, and we will shorten Leaders for a Better Louisiana when we need to, just to call ourselves Better Louisiana, to really remember and echo and push forward that big idea that we're here to push forward a better Louisiana, 1 year at a time, one issue at a time.
Do we know where we're starting? What issues we're starting with?
Well, we're going to continue in education and economic development issues this coming legislative session. We're still putting kind of strategy together for the year. With the merger, we've had a lot going on to build on. But this is a year where the new accountability formula in education is going to kick in August, something Barry had a kind of hand in shaping over the last few years, and we need to make sure that hits successfully. That has the potential to do enormous good to improve education outcomes, and we need to stay the course for pushing those changes, including a major focus statewide on work-based learning, on high school students having apprenticeships and internships, which is born in that program, that new accountability formula. And we hosted an event together last week on that very topic with the folks at the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, LAB. This is something that we see as a big issue. The other big thing you see in economic development is this is going to be a fiscal session. They're going to be writing tax incentive policy coming out of the tax session that happened last November. We need to get it right to put ourselves in a more competitive position on how we go after growth for our state.
We've got y'all. We've got Secretary Bourgeois. We're seeing it in on different levels, like with LAB as well. And I did a segment on this in the last hour. It really feels like there's a lot of attention finally being paid to everyone rowing in the same direction. How are y'all going to work, not just within Better Louisiana, but throughout all the different folks that have a focus on bringing more business, new business to town?
Well, Barry and I could probably both answer that question. I think we have seen CABL and Committee of 100 for sure as kind of partners to state leaders who are trying to drive change. So they're surfacing ideas, and they need a kind of a public-private partner to come bring some of the analysis and proposals together, as well as kind of a coalition of leaders across Louisiana to get excited about what that means for our future as a state. Mm-hmm. That's how we can be a partner, and we have close relationships with a lot of the leaders within state agencies as well as within the legislature to try to be a partner to them to help pull these things together. And that's where we think we really have a the ability to do something faster and more intense together as two organizations doing that for the state. But I think you're right. There's a lot of folks that are really starting to work incredibly collaboratively over the last year, and we think we're a part of that and continue to be able to do more of that.
You don't do this without a huge team, so let's talk about pulling together this Better Louisiana team.
Barry, you want to kind of dive in?
I'm sorry, say that again. I couldn't.
I say you don't do this without pulling together a great team. So let's talk about a few of the board members and how things came together on that front.
Oh yeah, I mean that's been a great experience. I mean, honestly, the conversation that we started having really started a few years ago with a guy named Tyron Picard, who some of y'all may know out of Lafayette. But our board has always kind of felt like we needed, and it sounds quaint, but Adam was talking about it, but it's the real thing. We needed to do more, and we needed to figure out a way to do more, and that's kind of where our board was coming from. And really, I think the C100 board was the same way, too, especially with the retirement of Mike Olivier. And so I think, just moments in time sometimes really make things happen. And I think it was a moment where there was just this opportunity that everybody sensed. And, it's kind of hard working together with folks, even though you're all aligned on a lot of policy issues, people, people have to learn to trust each other and to really get to know each other. But we went through that with that process, and I really think we came a long way in that process. And even though we were all kind of friends, you go to your corner sometimes a little bit, but we really came together. All of our board on both sides did, and it's really been a good experience, and I'm really looking forward to what's to come.
Closing thoughts before we get y'all both out of here, and we'll start with Barry. Closing thoughts on what the next year is going to look like and how Better Louisiana is going to present something stronger than what CABL did before.
Well, I think first we're going to go through this session and go through some things that we're going to do there. But one of the things that we kind of put out there about a year or so ago is a project dealing with data. We call it Louisiana Fact Book, but it's a way to look at data and indicators that really tell us where we are as a state. We wanted to build that, and I think we're going to be able to do that really well with this partnership together, so that we are setting goals and really painting a picture of where our state is, but also a path forward, so that we can see the issues, that hold us back, goals to kind of reach those benchmarks that we're looking for. And that's one thing that we're really trying to do is put data on top of things and drive policy through that.
Adam?
Barry has been a great leader, and I'm so excited to get to work alongside of him. I think the biggest thing that gets me fired up for the year is the two of us getting to work even closer together, where we can kind of take on tasks and work as a team. We have a great history as both organizations, and I think that's going to be kind of a signature of the year. The thing that I think CABL really brings to the table that's just incredible, and many of the folks on the listening may have been part of that. Leadership Louisiana that he spoke about a moment ago, 1,600 folks who have been graduates, really excited that the response to the news of the merger over the last day has been exciting. And that's just, folks all over the state. It's 4 hours to cross the state by car, and the relationships are tough if we don't stay in touch with each other and work together to push our state forward. And it's not just on the legislature or the governor to do that. We got to do that as citizens and as business leaders to shrink the state, collaborate, and push forward faster. That's kind of the DNA of who we are, is to bring us together to push forward.
My initial takeaway, and tell me how far off I am on this, guys, is you're combining the big dreams with the legitimate plans. I mean, is that fair to say?
I love that. Yeah. We use this phrase on our website. We think it's a great way to say it. Look, we're unlocking Louisiana's potential. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of us believe in the future of the state and really want to see people trying different things to try to make it happen faster. And you said it well. This is about where we're going and having a clear path forward and plan on how to do that.
Adam, Knapp, Barry, Erwin, I can't tell you how much I appreciate a couple minutes this morning. Fantastic stuff. I'm looking for a lot out of y'all this year.
That's great.
Great.
All right.
Well, thanks so much.
Thank you. Talk to you soon. Absolutely.
Take care.
We're at 7:30 at Talk 107.3 FM. Time for news. Yeah, Adam's the dreamer and Barry's the planner. It's Adam.
A good combination.
Yeah, Adam's the guy.
That.
Like, they're gonna open up, like say they're opening up like a storefront business together. Adam's like, let's make $1 million, and Barry says, well, I have the key to the front door. Let's start by opening that. Like, you've got the dreamer and the planner.
Love it.
That's not the full-on odd couple, but What you say, Don? I'm good. How are you? I was in the middle of a segment there. Do what? Bro, I hope so. I hope so. There's a lot riding on this. 4 sponsors for it. So. So I didn't get a text from you this morning saying you were waiting outside.
Well, I
so
tried to call.
as I got into the segment,
I called twice, and the phone was busy.
Because I was on the.
And then I went to text you, and then John came.
Because as soon as I got in the segment, when I saw it was on the hotline, I was like, you know what, John, go see if they're here.
Yeah.
That's
I
what I did for
appreciate
you.
it.
For you, Don. That's what I did for you.
I appreciate it.
Ready.
All right, get out, Don.
Look.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning. Good morning. All right,
morning.
get up. All right, so we're gonna get our picture. Good morning, Brian. I don't know if you remember my coworker. Good morning.
Yes, you've been in before. Yes. Come on over.
And you know him.
That guy?
Come on, Don. Come on.
This is what you want me to
How you doing?
I'm gonna let him in this too.
I wasn't sure.
See, that's a smooth looking shirt. I like that color. It's got like a little metallic in it.
Let's get you one. 1, 2, and 3, and I'll get one more thing down. All right, here we go, Miss Cecile. It is a nice looking shirt. Brian, did you get the questions?
You what?
Did you get the questions?
Yes. Yes, I did. Don completely took care of that.
Thank you.
Wednesday. I'm leaving middle of the show. I'm walking out of the show. I got Betsy Barnes coming in to finish out the show that morning. It's going to be over with by then. Right, yeah. I got Eachus coming on next hour, and he's going to say, everybody hold tight for about another 48 hours, and then we'll know for sure what Tuesday's going to look like. And we do not have Aaron today. Okay, no worries. Do what? If you want, I had 2 people written down on here. No, just let's welcome Aaron Bradford and Cecile Washington. So.
What is? What am I? What? How does my hair look?
Your hair looks fantastic.
And so does yours.
Thank you so much. Well, you're lying because I'm overdue for a haircut. So.
This is every time I come.
Okay.
I can't understand what's going on. Okay, so am I on here or not? What's happening? What's happening?
What? Oh, nothing. Nothing. It's just it's in the welcome. That's all.
I mean, I'll be here. You want me here? I'll do it. Yes. Yeah. She wants me here. Give me a mic. Testing. I can do it. Where is it? Who knows? Is it a question word? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I know generic. Hey,
I'm not ready for this.
come on, Don. I didn't get my picture. You and I. Forget them. I'm gonna do it too. I said, come on, get our picture. You. Come, Don. I'm just playing. I can do. Watch this. Watch this. Check this out. See that? How we look?
It look good because you in it.
Look at A little shy.
WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus, is going to join us an hour from right now. We'll get some answers on whether or not it's going to snow next week. We got a whole forecast and a whole weekend to get through before that. Here's WBRZ meteorologist Emma Kate Cowan. Nobody called him. He's not even on the phone. I'm going to look like I'm important. Hello? Did you hear it ring? I didn't hear it ring.
That's what I go through.
He's faking.
You have to have some fun now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it vibrated.
Do I?
Maybe it vibrated. Nope.
738 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. You know how we do on a Thursday. It's time for Crimestoppers. About once a month, we pivot the focus from catching the bad guys to preventing crime from happening, and we welcome in the folks from Eye Care. That's what we're doing right now. We've got Dr. Thornton. We've got Cecile Washington from Eye Care. Good morning, both of you. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning. Doing
All right, we got,
great.
Hang
doing
on.
great.
We got to get this around where we can actually hear you.
Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Good
That's
morning.
way better. And we'll put this over here since we'll be talking this way. All right.
Absolutely. Thank you.
This is awesome. I was reading through the some of the prep work and whatnot. And basically what we're doing today is hit and reset. Hit and reset to talk about what Eye Care is, how you came to be, how you've evolved, and where you're at today. So let's start with the history of Eye Care and how it began.
So when you're talking about Eye Care, you're talking about a grassroots program. You're talking about individuals. If I say the name Buckskin Bill, you know, some
I've heard
may
of him.
remember.
I'm not
All
a
right.
Baton Rouge native.
Not a Baton Rouge
No.
native. Okay. But you're talking about individuals in the community who were concerned about what was going on in the city, what was going on in the schools. So what did they do? They all got together, say, let's do something. Let's come up with a program that we can implement in the schools to help our students in the area of prevention of drugs, alcohol, violence. And that's what we did.
And Buckskin Bill started that?
Yes, Buckskin Bill, his wife, and several others in the community started this program.
So you get into schools, and it's all about prevention.
It is all about prevention.
So let's elaborate from there. Talk about how, providing prevention education to students translates down the line, not just in the moment with the students, but down the line throughout their lives.
Oh, you said something so important. When we look at that short-term perspective and that long-term perspective, we want to look at all of that because we have children and we're trying to help them as they navigate the world into adults.
Mm-hmm.
So what that may look like is providing prevention education in substance use, alcohol misuse, and violence. And someone may go into a classroom and give a presentation, and that creates a more intimate setting where that student may feel very comfortable expressing what's happening, what's around them. And if there's a setting that's needed more so in confidentiality, we have students that meet with the specialist individually and express different issues that may be concerning them. And so we talk about it from a school level. We have students that get together with peer interactions with one another, and they create something we call team leadership, and they're the ones at the forefront going into their schools and promoting prevention education. They're researching the information, so that means that they're being empowered, and they're also able to empower their peers as well. And then you have this awesome collaborations with educators, the teachers, the parents, the community, because that's what it's all about, putting everyone in, because at the end of the day, we all play a hand in helping our students when we talk about prevention education. We provide those coping skills that are needed. And we know that at a young age, as the brain is developing, is that if they can get as much information as possible, bombarding them with positiveness, positive affirmation, coping strategies, how to regulate their emotions, we know that as they become adults, it makes it a little bit easier, right? Can you imagine you're driving down in your car and someone cuts you off? We always joke about this, but when you're able to regulate your emotions, this is powerful. You're able to stop for a moment, see what's happening to your body, rebalance, and you're able to handle that situation in a healthy manner.
Now, so we're going to go from something very, generic and hypothetical to something very, very real. I want to ask, how young is too young to get started on this? And let's set the scenario. December 14th, downtown Baton Rouge Christmas parade. 2 17-year-olds and a 15-year-old have been arrested in a shooting there. Right. Obviously, they were not in control of their emotions at the time, not in control or not taking the right control of their actions at the time. And I can't help but see a scenario like that and say, boy, expanding eye care earlier, making sure that they get their message when they're 9, 10 years old so that they're not acting like that when they're 15 to 17 years old. So how young is too young?
Never too young.
Never too young. Never too young.
Okay.
We start in pre-K. We're in the classrooms, we're in the schools, and we are talking about gun safety. We're talking about decision making. We are talking with the little bitty ones you see walking in the lines. We're talking to them about what to do, who to tell, who to go to if there's a particular issue. So how young is too young? When they enter our schools in pre-K, we are talking with them at that point.
Now, how does that translate to being age appropriate? Because the message does have to evolve with level of graphicness and severity as they get older.
Absolutely. And let me tell you one. So we had an awesome partner, and they donated these coloring books. And it was really about gun safety, about medication safety. And so we came in the area of, it was called Dougie the Dog. Okay, and it was a friend of what to do, who to tell this to. And this was in the form of a coloring book that we use with these kids.
That's those books that I helped unload?
Those are the books you helped unload.
Those 8 million boxes of books?
Hey, but you know what? They are in all the schools in East Baton Rouge Parish. We put them in all of our public schools and several of our non-public schools in East Baton Rouge Parish. When you say how young, we're saying pre-K.
Walk me through what the message sounds like to pre-K. And then we're going to go, just a quick little 30 to 60 seconds of how it sounds for pre-K versus third grade versus seventh grade. Because I would say after seventh grade, you're not too many years off of 15 at that point.
Right. I'm glad you said that, because when we talk about age development, that language in itself is very important, because we know our young kids, they're learning language. So when we have that coloring book in front of us, this creative expression, we can look at the pictures and we can say, let's look at what's happening here. Let's dissect this. And so it may look like using words such as substance use, but maybe we're using drugs. Maybe we're using terminology that they're able to understand. And we're coloring, we're talking. But let's say we're getting into middle and high school at this point, where there's more abstract thinking. Now we're doing role playing. And that's essential, because now I'm in the moment. I can take a situation, a scenario, and I can say what I would do in that moment, and we can look at it and dissect it from that perspective. So that's one angle.
And would you mind, is it okay if I jump in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so when we talk about Crimestoppers, we are in our schools, okay? And we're telling the little kids, if you know something or you see something, say something. They are seeing weapons. They are seeing kids maybe make plans to do something. Let a principal know. Let your teacher know. So we are planting that seed when they are the little ones. So as they grow, when you see something, say something. This is the message that we support, that Crimestoppers support us, and we are huge supporters of the capital area Crimestoppers. You see something, say something. And I am talking in the little grades is where we start.
We're talking with Dr. Susan Thornton and Cecile Washington from Eye Care as part of our Crimestopper segment. Okay, so all this culminates with a whole lot of people coming together to make all this happen. So let's talk about how the number of people involved, the mission, the goals, and all that stuff, and how you get everybody rowing in the same direction.
So when you talk about the mission, you're talking about the mission that we are providing prevention education, very simple, from pre-K through 12th grade. And let's expand to the community, because we're doing this with the community. We have a big summit that's coming up that we're also providing prevention education. And that prevention education will always be in the area of drugs, alcohol, and violence prevention.
big summit coming up, you said?
Big summit.
We're
Let's
so
talk about it.
excited.
Let's
We're
talk about
so
this summit.
excited.
Yes.
You know, we talk about culminating activities. This is our big culminating activity, and it's for our community. We want to involve our parents. We want to involve those who are helping our students and just people in general. So we have a summit that is January 22nd, 2025, next week. And that is going to encompass our community. It's going to encompass vendors giving materials and resources. And that's important. Resources are essential because if there's an issue happening, we want to be able to have multiple resources a person can go to and get that back to their clientele or their students. We also have speakers that are coming talking about humility, talking about biases, talking about grief. If we're talking about crime and we're talking about other issues, it's important to bring in grief and that strategies that our community can use as they're serving and helping our students, as well as anyone else that may be in their life. We also have mindfulness. So when we talk about coping strategies for young people and adults, this is essential mindfulness, just being aware of what's happening in your body to help regulate those emotions, but also relaxation techniques. And we can be right here relaxing, but clearing our mind and also prepping us for what's out there in our journey. If we stop for a moment and just took a deep breath.
That was great.
That may seem minute, but that is paramount in the scheme of prevention education and relaxation techniques. But the summit is going to be a phenomenal experience for all. We're excited about it, and it's from 8 to 3:30 at the Pennington Biomedical Research Center.
We're good to sign up if there's a website or something you'll need to share. We'll do that in just a second. But I'm really picking up during your answer right there about how this is twofold. There's the if you see something, say something part of it, but there's also don't be part of the problem.
Absolutely.
And how are those two separate messages, or do they combine?
I would definitely say they combine, but it's all about that education. We are educating the students. Again, if you see something, say something. You know something that's going to happen, please say something. Let someone know so that we can now prevent. So we're in the classrooms and we're talking. We're in the schools. We're putting out posters. We have PSAs that's going on in the schools. We have curriculum that's in the schools. And it's all about preventing. We have to help change that mindset. Okay, and that's what we are doing in our schools.
Okay, so summit's coming up a week from yesterday. It'll be January 22nd out of Pennington Biomedical at the conference center. Yes, so is this open to everyone? Do folks need to sign up ahead of time? What does that look like?
It's open to everyone. We have a flyer on our website at icare.ebrschools.org.
Gotcha.
They can go there and they can register, and they will receive a confirmation that they have registered.
And this is free. It is free to the public. We are giving back. iCare, we are giving back to the community.
Dr. Thornton, Cecile, Washington, thank you all so much for a couple minutes this morning. Absolutely. No, thank you all. Greatly appreciate it. Yep, coming up next Wednesday out at Pennington. So if you're so inclined, I would recommend taking part in that. We have got to break. We got Your Money Now coming your way. We will check traffic after the break. All right, is it time to audit your streaming services? They're about to go up in price because they're about to be hit with a 10% tax. We'll talk about it next. Actually, they're already being hit with a 10% tax. You're about to see the bill with the 10% tax.
Thank you so much.
No, thank y'all. I appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you next month.
Yep.
All right, take care.
If you're able to get out, safe travel.
Oh, I'll get out for sure. Might be on a frozen road down in I'm flying out of New Orleans because I'm an idiot. Well, I like flying out of Baton Rouge better than I like flying out of New Orleans, but
I can't disagree there.
But Gordy booked it for me. He likes the Southwest points, so I also think he gave me a layover in Dallas on purpose.
Oh, that sucks.
I gotta go west to go east.
That sucks. Be careful. If you need something, holler.
Will do. Later. Oh, shit, I didn't think about that. I got a layover in Dallas next week. So I need to check their weather as well because I don't want to land and not be able to get back up again. Yeah. Shit. I might be flying into a lot more snow.
And I hope that's not the case.
Yes. I agree with this. Get real cash back. You're putting gas in your car anyway. Absolutely. But don't sit there and try to tell me I paid for my vacation with Upside. Because right now I got $50.19 in my Upside account. Last time I filled up was at the Circle K on Goodwood at Airline, and I made 10 cents per gallon. Okay? That came out to $1.80. I made $1.80. If you make $1.80 3 times a month, you're not paying for a damn vacation. Unless your vacation sucks ass.
Maybe it was a couple of years, Maybe it was a couple of years.
Too much?
Man, you sound like your boy over there, the attorney guy.
I will fuck up an attorney. I will.
You paid for your vacation. It only took 10 years.
If you make $1.80 3 times a month, you're not paying for a vacation. It's just. Oh, you can also earn by going inside and getting a hot dog. You actually can. At some of the places. They'll offer you, right. So if I get a Red Bull, I'll do my Upside again. But, okay, I earn, 4 cents back on every dollar. So, I just spent $2.99 on a Red Bull. Awesome. There's 8 cents to you. Add that to my vacation fund where I'm looking at clipping $70 this year.
See, Renee, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe they vacation once every 10 years. That's
right.
About right.
Yeah, no, that's a good call. That's a good call. Even still, though,
yeah,
you're under $1,000.
Right.
If you're making $70 a year on Upside,
the gas.
Right?
That's what it's doing.
You know what? So we do this thing in the Haldane house where every place if you see a penny on the ground, we always pick it up.
Right.
And we got a jar for it. Okay. Yeah. Every piece of loose change you find on the ground goes in that jar. And you would be shocked. It's about $30, $35 over the course of a year.
Oh, yeah.
We find, my son is always finding, always finding, nickels and dimes on the ground. Yeah. And he's got this ridiculous knack for it. He's like, Dad, I found 2 dimes. I'm like, what the hell? That's 20 cents. So, yeah. But, over the course of the year, and I'll slide every once in a while, I'll slide whatever change I have in there as well. Right. But it comes out to about $30, $35. So what we'll do is that's our dessert money on vacation. We'll all go get, as a family, we'll all go get ice cream based off of that money. But it teaches them to save, and then we bring it to the big Coinstar thing in the Walmart and, pour it all down there, and it spits out the ticket, and you go get the cash for that, and we take that on vacation. It's another way to have a little bit of family fun, just a kind of a family thing on vacation. But I'll make you about, like I said, $30, $35 on that. And what? Another $65, $70 off of Upside?
Yeah.
Now we're still not even talking about $100.
But maybe it goes into,
maybe
snack fun, a little something, something.
$7:56 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. During a break right there where we're talking with Facebook Live, having a conversation about saving some money. We're following up on, you heard a commercial in the last break right there for Upside. And I actually use Upside. I do. And no, they're not paying me to say this. I will tell you, just between you, me, and the wall, you don't make nearly as much as they make it sound like. But you do earn something. And we're looking at a time right now where every penny counts on every front, right? And as of the first of this year, I mean, we're 16 days into the year, sales tax went up, and our streaming services are now being taxed as well at 10%. So I wanted to ask the question with our Facebook Live audience, are you cutting anybody on streaming or cable? Like, if you've got cable, are you done with it? If you're streaming, how many streaming services do you have? And is it time to say, you know what? At 10% more, this one ain't cutting it anymore. The number of streaming services that are out there, the variety that's out there, and the amount of content and entertainment that's out there makes it very alluring to say, hey, you want YouTube TV and Hulu? Okay, sure. You want Amazon Prime and Netflix? Okay, sure. But, man, we're getting to that point already where in the Haldane house, when we're working out the Haldane budget, man, buckling down and probably cutting one or two this year. So let's talk over on Facebook Live. How do you handle your budget when it comes to the streaming services? And did this 10% tax that we got added on to us, is this tax going to affect how you handle your family business moving forward? You know, the genesis of this, John, was I really, really want Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
I really want Paramount Plus.
I still don't.
There's a lot of content on that one that I really want. And it's at a time where everybody's cracking down on password sharing, too. But, I want Paramount Plus, but I'm not getting rid of my Disney or ESPN. I'm not getting rid of HBO Max. I'm not getting rid of YouTube TV. We're obviously not getting rid of Amazon Prime because that's so much more than just TV.
Right.
And then, the Netflix as well. You know, I'm looking at all of them. I mean, we might even drop Netflix because there's just nothing going on right now.
Yeah, ours was Disney Plus.
You dropped Disney Plus.
Yeah, dropped it, but now I saw the
can't do it
trailer for Daredevil yesterday.
Yep.
Daredevil Born Again. I'm like, you know what? We're probably going to get it back.
I think the way this is going to evolve is it's going to end up being like a rotator. Yeah. Like, I'll get Netflix for 2 years, binge everything over those 2 years, and then I'll rotate over to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you're not.
And then I'll go get Hulu and watch my Only Murders in the Building, and then I'll go back to Disney. We'll put them on a rotator. Hour 3's next.
Yeah, we cut Disney Plus, but because a lot of Hulu, we have Hulu, and so a lot of that's tied into Disney Plus as well. So, new Goosebumps series started watching on Hulu, which I'm sure it's on Disney Plus as well. But yeah, started
new Goosebumps series.
Yeah, David Schwimmer is the lead in that.
Matt says, I'm always picking up coins, got my girls into it. It's crazy where you find it. Just walk your neighborhood. Yeah. I know.
Right.
It's bonkers how many coins you'll find in a dadgum street.
When you're really paying attention.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what's really scary, though?
What's that?
I was out for a walk/run the other day, and I found 2 quarters in a shell casing.
It's a story behind that one, huh?
Right? He dropped 50 cents in a 9mm. Like, then. Spent shell casing just 4 blocks from the house.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Telling you kids, leave the shell casing. Just get the quarters. Get the quarters.
Yeah, don't touch it because now your fingerprint's on it.
Right. You got your fingerprints on some evidence, and all you wanted was 50 cents.
Right.
That's all you wanted. You're just teaching kids how to save.
Jeb says, I'm spending almost $300 a month on streaming services and gaming services.
Yeah.
$300 a month. I'm back at where cable was at. Yeah. But are you getting more for your dollar, though? That's the follow-up question. Do you feel like you're getting more for your dollar than you got from cable? Renee says, don't use Coinstar. It charges you a fee. Go to your bank, get wrappers for free. Teach them to wrap the coins themselves, save money. Good call, Renee. And yes, I debated that last year, but if I'm being 100% honest, we kind of procrastinated a good bit. And the bank was not open on a Saturday, but the Walmart was. So rather than wrapping them all up, which, by the way, when you're wrapping them, you're teaching more math lessons as well. So it's not just about the savings. It's about the 50 cents a pennies, $2 a nickels, $5 a dimes, $10 a quarters. Like it was, there's that added lesson there of quick math because you're not doing like new math or Common Core math when you're counting money. So there's that side of it as well. So yeah, 100% agree with you, but we procrastinated last year. So Jeff says, no, I'm not getting more for my money because I have streaming services that I forgot all about that I'm still paying for. Well, Byron says Paramount Plus is starting to irritate me. The new shows, you said shoes, you meant shows. The new shows they are rolling out require a Showtime bundle as well for a significantly higher charge. Oh, man. So you're paying for Paramount Plus, but they're charging you a bundle on top of that? They're charging you for Showtime on top? Oh, man. And there's like 5 or 6 shows on Paramount Plus that I really, really, really want to see. Tulsa King's the biggest one. I really want to see Tulsa King. George says, and this is why LimeWire was so great. Napster, too, right? While we're at it.
Man.
George throwing in the bong, bong.
Yeah. Oh, man. You know, that would be, I don't know. I don't know. It's probably a stupid idea, but.
What?
Those were some good times, man. Good times.
Landman.
LimeWire.
Landman that's the one. That's another one I want.
Oh, yeah, with Billy Bob. Bob Thornton, yeah.
I keep seeing clips of it on
Me
TikTok.
too. Yeah. Yeah, man.
Won't be able to say that anymore. Like, literally half of my TikTok algorithm is Sopranos clips.
Dang,
man. .806 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Hour 3. I'm Mornings with Brian Haldane coming your way right now. Brian here with you. John LaBeouf producing. Busy third hour coming up this hour. Is it going to snow next week? I'm trying not to get the kids' hopes up. It's been 7 years since we've seen snow in Baton Rouge. Is it coming next week? Tuesday, to be specific. We'll talk with WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus, coming up at 8:15. Also this hour, the Jazz Fest lineup is out. Going to break it down with Eagle 98.1's Michelle Southern joining us at 8:35 to chat about that. Hey, John, did you see going into the break when we were talking about all the streaming services and whether it's time to audit?
Right.
Why is it every time I look at trimming things down, someone opens the door for me to want more?
That's how it is, right?
Right?
It's that constant, whether it's the algorithm or just people around you.
But I want to get rid of streaming services. But there's also, I really, really want Paramount Plus.
It's enticing.
And now I'm getting talked to over on the app, over the Facebook live chat. I'm getting talked into wanting to watch Landman. I keep getting, so like half of my TikTok algorithm is like TV and movie clips.
Right.
Like if I can't go 4 videos in TikTok without seeing Sopranos, right?
Yeah.
Or Studio 60 or West Wing or Landman is one of them.
Okay.
Tulsa King's another one.
Right.
So between Landman and Tulsa King, now I got 2 shows on Paramount Plus that I absolutely have to see, but I can't because I've got all these other subscription services. We need to address Netflix.
Things just got so complicated.
Netflix
right?
got to go.
Man,
gotta go. I'm there.
What are you streaming like on Netflix? What's
nothing.
Like some?
Nothing.
Oh, really?
I haven't watched Netflix in months.
Oh yeah, then.
So
I have so many things on my list. None of them are being watched as much. I started watching them. Anyway, we'll go on that later. But it's enticing, right? I mean, you have so many options.
Right.
I want it to be as simple as my kids. They're like, we get on YouTube. They just watch YouTube. That's it. Paying for all these subscriptions. My kids are like, YouTube.
Yeah. Jeb says, make the internet great again. Back to the days where everything was free like LimeWire. George had mentioned LimeWire earlier.
Came with a cost, though. You paid the price.
Well, yes, because if you're not the customer, you're the product.
Yes.
That's what Haggai says in Cup of Tech Gumbo all the time. If it's free, you're the guinea pig, pal. Yeah. And we learned along the way with that.
Indeed.
Bring back LimeWire. Can we bring back Napster as well?
Oof. How many computers contracted viruses because of those? That's the real price you pay. That's the real price.
Napster was like dial-up days, though, right?
Yeah.
Where you had that annoying that... and then you were connected.
Yeah.
And if anybody called the house, you were kicked right off midway through the song.
It's terrible.
Wow. We got a third hour to get to.
Speaking of history.
Oh! Captain Segway over here. Let's go. Okay.
Well.
Yeah, well.
On this day, Napster was... No, I'm kidding.
That'd be funny.
That would. It'd be amazing. But 1919, the 18th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution authorizing the prohibition of alcohol is ratified by a majority of U.S. states.
States. Terrible day in history, right?
Terrible, huh? Yeah. Hey, look. Speaking of, music venues here. A couple different things surrounding music venues today. 1938, the first jazz concert was held at Carnegie Hall, performed by Benny Goodman. And, of course...
Okay, what's the likelihood that was the first jazz concert, though?
Doubt it.
Yeah, no. There's no way. You don't make the stage at Carnegie Hall without being awesome first.
Right. But I guess, no, the first jazz concert held at... So, it was the first one they held there. Hey, 1941, U.S. Vice Admiral Bellinger warns of an assault on Pearl Harbor. So, that happened today.
Okay.
Let's see. Music venues. Once again, 1957, the Cavern Club opens in Matthew Street in Liverpool, England, home of many performances by the Beatles.
The Beatles.
Let's see. Also, another venue here. Whiskey A Go-Go opens today in 1963. It was, of course, inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. The venue itself.
Yeah.
Inducted in the Hall of Fame. Of course, many LA acts, came through there.
So one of the things that we lost in the flood in 2016, and we didn't take on a whole lot of water.
Yeah.
But after in the week after the flood, when everything just kind of sat stagnant in the house, I lost a lot of my albums.
Man.
Yeah. Otis Redding live at the Whiskey A Go-Go. Gone.
Man.
Gone.
You know what's crazy is I believe I saw that album in a thrift store recently. And, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, Jaws, the book, was published today in 1974.
Never read the book.
Nope.
Never read the
Neither
book.
have
Don't care to. There are certain things in like every who reads the book says the book was better on anything out there, right?
Of course.
Godfather book was better, right? The Firm book was better.
Right.
Sure, we'll roll with you on that one. Jaws is a man-eating shark. You kind of need the visual on that one.
Definitely need that visual.
Right?
Oh, man. Hey, speaking of music, 1976, Peter Frampton's Frampton Comes Alive.
Oh.
Came out.
That was, as the kids say, a banger.
Yes. Hey, 2001, U.S. President Bill Clinton awards former President Theodore Roosevelt with a Medal of Honor for his service in the Spanish-American War.
Well, that's like the last thing he did.
Yeah.
I mean, George W. Bush would have been sworn in like an hour later.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm exaggerating.
Oh, I know that, but still, I mean, getting the recognition, getting awarded. Yeah. Hey, the first ever flower was grown in space on this day in 2016.
Shout out Wally.
Wally?
Nothing? Okay, fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine.
Sorry. It was actually a part of the International Space Station
Okay.
using national Oh, man. Hey, you might like this. Mobsters and things like that. 2023, Italy's most wanted mobster, Matteo Messina Denaro, arrested at a private cancer clinic in Palermo, Sicily. After being on the run for 30 years.
Okay. Good to know. Is that it for the events?
I think so.
Okay. The Space Shuttle Columbia's final mission launched today in 2003.
Oh, okay.
Have that one as well. All right, birthdays. What you got? Because I got a ton.
Manuel Miranda.
Oh, yeah, Mr.
Davis
Hamilton.
Hamilton, yes, of course. Hey,
Okay.
you remember Aaliyah, the R&B singer?
Of course, yes.
Well. Yeah. Let's see who else we got on this list of people. Oh, man. Oh, John Carpenter, speaking of movies. Of course, he brought us The Thing and Halloween, Escape from New York.
Yep.
Starman as well. Let's see. Who else you got over there?
So I've got a ton on the sports front.
Okay.
And we'll get to the sports front in just a minute. Let me finish out with when we get the non-sports sports ones.
Okay.
Singer Sade was born on this day in 1959. You had Lin-Manuel Miranda already listed. Kate Moss, model Kate Moss, was born on this day in 1974. And there was one more that I had. Cuban dictator Fulgencio Batista.
Okay.
Yeah. But on the sports front, here's where we're just going to slam through a whole bunch of them. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay. American boxer Roy Jones Jr., born on this day in 1969. Former wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, Mr. Cell Phone himself. Joe Horn, born on this day in 1972. Former Cardinals and Angels first baseman Albert Pujols, born on this day in 1980. Former Ravens quarterback, well, he's been a quarterback for a couple different teams, Joe Flacco, born on this day in 1985. And LSU Tiger, now Buffalo Bill quarterback Tre'Davious White, was born on this day in 1995.
Awesome. Fantastic stuff. Let's see. Moving on to deaths. Let's see. I've got Ted Cassidy, TV actor Ted Cassidy, and basketball player JoJo White.
Okay, so add a few more to that list. I don't know who JoJo White is.
Let's see. Won 2 championships with the Boston
Celtics.
Celtics.
No, they're Celtic
I
if
know.
they're from Ireland. The team
The
is called the
Celtic,
Boston
yeah, the
Celtics. American record producer Phil Spector died on this day in 2021, and that was the only other one that I had.
Yeah. Better than me because.
Yeah.
Let's see. National days today. What about National Nothing Day? If
Sure.
you're doing nothing, aren't you
Sure.
doing something?
Why not?
With nothing as a thing you're doing?
Yeah, well, the problem with doing nothing is you never know when you're done.
Right.
And how do you take a break? By doing something?
Hey, you want to talk food? What about Hot and Spicy Food Day?
No.
National Boston Day?
No. We can do nothing day. That's fine. We're running way long, and everyone wants to know if it's going to snow next week. So let's take a quick break, come back. We'll talk with WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus. This on next.
Yes, that's also him on the line.
Okay. See, I thought I saw him text while we were doing the segment. I'm asking again. Don't do the sports ones. You don't know sports. I've never heard of this person before. You just happy birthday to nobody or death to nobody.
Yeah.
Like, skip them. You know,
Okay.
You know music, movies.
Yeah.
A lot better.
Yeah.
You would know who, like, when you do like guitarists and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's stuff that I don't know about, but I realize a lot of people do. So it's like
Right.
you're educating me.
Yeah,
Just leave the sports ones to the side. The Rotary Club. I got an email.
Rotary?
What? Gotcha. 820 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. We're keeping one eye on next week and what the forecast is going to look like. I got the number of people messaging me asking if it's going to snow is through the roof. So I reached out to WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus, because he's going to know a lot more than me. Dr. Josh, good morning. How are you, sir?
Doing good. I appreciate that lead-in talk bed there. Some little chili pepper snow. Hey-o.
Very nice. Yep. John mentioned it on his way in. I'm glad you picked up on it. Is that foreshadowing here, or are we going to snow next Tuesday?
You know, I knew that was going to be the first question that you threw my way, and I had all night to think about it. And the answer I came up with, give me an ellipses, wait for it, drum roll, is maybe.
Maybe. Yep.
That's where we are right now.
Okay, so one of the things we have to take into account is the number of factors that it takes to make this happen, right?
Yeah, there are a number of factors that take to make it happen. And just the maybe really just stems from the point out in time we are at 6 days.
Right.
So this is a little different than hurricanes where we can start to send planes into there to get data. When we're talking about a continental storm system, like this potential winter precipitation system would be, we need the energy in the atmosphere that's going to drive that to come into the United States and get into our upper air weather balloon network. So that can feed the forecast models. Right now, that energy is over the Pacific. There are no weather balloons launched in the Pacific Ocean, so we're not getting the best data on that yet. That will come later today and tomorrow, and that's when we should be able to start transitioning our maybe into yes or no.
Well, even still, though, I mean, we're showing, what does it say, a 50-50 shot right now, right? So even within that, does that mean it doesn't mean it's going to snow everywhere?
No, it doesn't. This is if we are to get any kind of precipitation on Tuesday, and by the way, you say 50-50 because there are right now some outcomes in the forecast models that are completely dry.
Right.
And they range from dry to rain to ice to snow. So it's really a whole gamut of possibilities right now. What's the most likely outcome? Probably some sort of hybrid solution where some areas get rain closer to the coast, and then there's this transition zone where it's ice, and then north of that it's snow. Figuring out that exact transition line and where that sets up and how much it's going to be. Now, if we answer yes or no to that, the details on amounts and placement, those might not come until this weekend or even Monday, especially in an area like the Gulf Coast where it's super rare to get wintry precipitation and more difficult to forecast here for that reason.
We've got WBRZ's chief meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus, with us, talking about the possibility of snow for next week, which is it's a hard maybe right now. We'll stay dialed in over the course of the next 48 hours or so to get a little bit more sure. Okay, Josh, talk about, if you could, the factors that are needed in order to make it snow. I mean, as far as temperature, humidity, what causes snow versus ice or sleet?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're going to have the cold air in place at the surface next week. That's something that we're pushing 100% confidence on, that we're going to have like our coldest air so far this season. Maybe some lows in the low 20s or teens. But you can still have warmer air above the surface that we're not feeling. And to get snow to fall, you essentially need freezing temperatures all the way down to the ground. The ground itself can actually be a little bit above freezing because that wouldn't give snow enough time to melt. But if you have any kind of significant above freezing level just above the ground, snow that's falling will melt back into liquid. And then if it's frozen at the surface, you get freezing rain. Or if that frozen layer above the ground is a little bit deeper, that rain refreezes into a sleet pellet, and that's how you get that. To get snow, you actually need frozen temperatures essentially from the top of the atmosphere all the way down to just at the surface level, where it can potentially be slightly above freezing. So you really need a perfect atmospheric profile, and we rarely get that here on the Gulf Coast because the Gulf itself just kind of inherently places some warm air just above the ground layer, and that keeps us above freezing. Even if we're seeing 29, 30 at the surface, just over our heads, it's above freezing.
Okay, my next question is going to be about air travel because next week is going to be a lot of people in and out of Louisiana, whether you're talking about coming home from inauguration if they go to Washington, D.C., or heading out to Washington Mardi Gras on Tuesday and Wednesday. What can we expect? Or, again, we're still too soon, but how equipped are we to handle this from an air travel standpoint?
I hadn't even considered, the events going on next weekend, air travel, but I can say from a timing perspective, I think anybody doing travel on Monday would be in pretty good shape. By the time we get into Tuesday morning, if this maybe becomes a yes, it's going to get dicey quick and may stay that way then through Wednesday, because one thing about, like I said, we're confident in the temperatures, precip or not, we're going to have cold air staying for a while. So anything that were to fall would probably hang out for a day or two before melting in any kind of hurry. So that could be a challenge. And let's relate this to some past ice events. I've been talking to my team about this a little bit. We know the big one in February 2021 took power down and things like that. In terms of amount, if this is an ice event, getting over a tenth, maybe 0.15 inches of ice, that's a little bit more than our infrastructure can handle. That's when I'd start worrying about power outages.
Right.
But even over 1/100 of an inch, we had that just last year. We had a very light glaze, and that was enough to start to close down some of these elevated surfaces like bridges and overpasses and things like that. So this is not an area that you really can't accumulate much ice at all without running into some issues. And especially since we're coming in from a colder starting point, the ground is not very warm. This has been a pretty cold January.
Yeah.
It will not take much for any ice to accumulate glaze and make things slick.
Man, I forgot about last year. Yeah, 110 was shut down for like an entire day.
And we only had, I think, like 0.1 in that. It was about a tenth, pretty minor amount. So yeah, I think it would take even less than that to start to close things down because we're coming in colder.
As far as looking at the surrounding area, you said what we're looking at right now is still in the Pacific. What about as it moves across? How much of the rest of the nation is just completely bracing themselves right now?
Yeah, actually, this is a really southern storm track. And
really?
Because we're getting this blast of polar air, what's really going to be maintaining this cold air mass is a large dome of high pressure, kind of like our heat dome in the summer. Yeah. You get a cold dome of high pressure in the winter, and it's usually dry and clear under those domes of cold air. So this is an event that would really be along the I-10 corridor from central Texas across to about southern Alabama. It's a very southern winter event potential right now.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. So once again, the strongest answer right now is maybe, and stay dialed in for another 24 to 48 hours. He is WBRZ meteorologist, Chief Meteorologist, Dr. Josh Eachus. We greatly appreciate the time, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Sure thing, Brian. Take care.
You too. Thank you. Love having him at the moment's notice. Right at the, still too far out to be definitive. So 50-50, strong maybe right now. And last year, I mean, we didn't catch any snow with it. It was just a very light glaze, like you said, a light glazed ice. You see more glaze on a donut. It was a very light glazed ice, and I-110 was shut down for an entire day. Oh, man. So starting colder this year, to be sure. A lot to take into account here. I asked about BTR as far as being equipped to fly out. I did not ask about Moisant. I didn't ask about Armstrong down in New Orleans. But I'm sure whatever applies here applies there as well, right? I mean, even though they are, an hour closer to the Gulf, an hour closer to whatever, hour further down the road, but that's only an hour down the road. But the added fact there is you have to cross the Atchafalaya to get there. All right, we're going to have a follow-up with Josh on Monday once we're closer to this. Hey, before we get to the news here at the bottom of the hour, got to remind you about the folks over at Vex European, VEX. Vinny and his team over at Vex European celebrating their 10th anniversary this year. That's 10 years of specialization. That's 10 years of service. That's 10 years of Vexpertise. Who are they serving over at Vex European? Well, if you drive a European vehicle, you need to hit up VexEuropean.com, hit the little drop-down tab where it says vehicles, see if your car's on there. Mercedes, BMW, Land Rover, Jaguar. If you're James Bond and you drive an Aston Martin, Vinny and his team over at Vex European can help you out. Hit that little drop-down tab, find your vehicle. Hit the specials tab, see if you can save some money on your first visit. It starts with the website, VexEuropean.com. They're on Benefit Drive. That's in the backside of Industriplex. But if you drive a European vehicle, you want the most performance and longevity and ROI out of that purchase. That's why I use Vex European. I recommend you do too. Okay, what do we have? About a minute until we got to hit news here at the bottom of the hour. There are days on the Louisiana calendar that just rise to a level of excitement. LSU's football schedule, when that's released in its entirety, when you find out, there's a bye week before Bama. You find out, the entire schedule, both conference and non-conference. That's always a big day. Jazz Fest lineup coming out is a big day. Every year, I look forward to it. I don't always go to Jazz Fest, but I darn sure look forward to the lineup coming out. It came out yesterday, so let's break it down. Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1 going to be in the house with us next. She'll run through a few of the bands. We'll trade off on a few of our favorites. We'll have a little fun. We'll talk a little music next on Talk 107.3. Oh. See, I know the minute we get rid of Disney, they're going to come out with another season of Gravity Falls. And I can't have that. I have to have another season of Gravity Falls. Maybe I need to get rid of it to spark them bringing it back and then bring it back. Then I'll go back and get Disney back.
With Disney, I was watching, I just found myself watching a lot of older, 90s movies and things like that. 90s feel good, like The Kid with Bruce Willis. A lot of stuff. Boy Meets World I was watching.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
My kids are like, no, give us what is it, Spy Ninjas on on YouTube. It's like, okay.
Spy Ninjas?
It's literally just people with their smartphones, just, bad acting and everything, That's really where it's
better
at.
than Santa Jaws?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I mean, it's
hard to get better than Santa Jaws.
It's literally, but
filmed in Mandeville.
Freaking.
I think, did you see Patrick cringe yesterday when Mulhern was in here? Did you see him cringe when I said Santa Jaws, like every time I mention it. So the digital effects company, Crafty Apes,
Yeah.
they did all the digital on it.
Oh.
Okay. But it was filmed in Louisiana. A lot of it filmed by Bayou Casting in Mandeville, which is right by the yacht club, right by Harbor Field. And so I recognized when I watched Santa Jaws, I was like, dude, I played Little League ball right behind there. Like, first of all, there's no way this great white shark or any shark, well, there's a bull shark. You have a bull shark in Lake Pontchartrain. But I bring it up because, number one, it's the perfect title for a movie, Santa Jaws.
Oh, of course.
Number two, when the dorsal fin sticks out of the water, he's got a little Santa hat on it. And number three, it is beyond compare the period worst period movie period ever! Exclamation point.
Worse than Sharknado?
Sharknado was awesome.
Really?
By comparison.
Oh, man. That's so unfortunate. Like, if that's the bar, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Sharknado was Citizen Kane compared to Santa Jaws.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that just means I have to watch.
Yeah.
Santa Jaws.
But I get in all those. You know, Flynn, our boss, he had a guest appearance in 2 of those awful sci-fi shark movies. He played Sheriff Drew. He won it. It's like a bit part. He won it in an auction.
That's amazing.
So, yeah,
That
I'm
is-
talking about the shark movies again. I don't know why.
Am I up?
You're up. We were
talking about what?
we were talking about, how did we get on Santa Jaws today?
We were talking movies, everything movies, and
Yeah.
just Jaws. The
The
novel.
book. The
Yeah.
book, Jaws book came out today. This day. Yeah. Did you know there was a novel of Jaws?
No.
Me neither.
I know that Flynn has been in shark movies.
That's what we were just talking about.
Oh,
That's I was just mentioning that to him. He played Sheriff Drew.
Jazz Fest is going to be I'm so excited. I think my listeners must have been sick of me yesterday because it's all I talked about.
We've brought up, this will be our 3rd segment on it this morning.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah. I mean, it's huge. This is the biggest lineup I've seen in a very long time. I should have brought my cans. How long do we have?
Oh, you have about 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes.
Okay.
You're good. Can you pull up Before I Let Go by Frankie Beverly and Mays? No, I want it from, whoa, I'm a call for it. Before I Let Go, Frankie Beverly. Have it queued up and ready to go.
I got you, man.
Okay, let me know when that one's good because I'm gonna hit you with a second one.
You want it what at the chorus?
No, I want it right at the beginning of him singing. Or no, right at the beginning of the first lyric. You make me happy. That's what I want.
Oh, I got you.
You got it? Okay, now open up another one. Jungle Love by Morris Day and the Time. I always feel silly trying to give a forecast right after Dr. Josh Eachus, but here we go. We got sunny skies today with a high of 66. Overnight low gets down to 37. Tomorrow we'll top out at 68 and then only get down to 60 degrees. Look for some rain in the overnight hours Friday into Saturday, and then Saturday we're going to top out at 71, and then it gets cold. Sunday's high is 49, and we'll get down to 26 overnight. Monday's high is 39, down to 25 overnight. Tuesday, well, that's when we got all that chance of snow on Tuesday, but like Dr. Josh said, let's hold off for 48 hours before making a call as to whether or not that's going to hit. Right now, sunny and 47 in downtown Baton Rouge. Eight 8:37, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. The big announcement coming out yesterday. Who is going to be at the 2025 Jazz Fest? Joining us now to break it down from Eagle 98.1. You'll catch her in the afternoons rocking your face off. She's Michelle Southern. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Doing very well. See, one of my favorite parts about the Jazz Fest lineup coming out is
Yeah.
I know I get to call you for the breakdown, right?
This is one of the biggest lineups that I have seen in years, and I never miss a Jazz Fest. And it was the same way with the Foo Fighters, with the Pearl Jam aspect of it.
Yes.
They announced this big world tour a couple of weeks ago, and there's that open space in May, and you're thinking that's going to be a Jazz Fest date. So it was huge when we saw it yesterday.
Pearl Jam, the biggest name on here, obviously.
Dave Matthews.
Dave Matthews Band right behind it.
Yeah, I mean, the cold following there. And Dave, I think, is the biggest act on that first weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to bring in so many people. And I think that's how they kind of balance it out. But for my money, second weekend is where it's at. I've already got my hotel booked and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Already done.
Thursday night through Sunday night.
So, let's start with the first weekend before we get to the next weekend.
Yeah.
Dave Matthews Band, Lil Wayne and the Roots. So, Lil Wayne, we've known and loved for years,
right?
And the Roots.
Yeah.
Is this a combined act that is?
My guess is that Lil Wayne's going to be on the Congo stage, and they do that a lot. They combine these different acts on that stage, but that's going to be huge. I mean, I guess it was like one of the second or third bands that were listed. I just love how the lineup every year is so eclectic, something for everyone, as Quint always says.
Yep. Casey Musgraves.
Yes, huge country artist, and that's definitely the biggest name country wise. My guess is she would be on the Gentilly stage, but. Maybe, I don't know. See, before the cubes come out, I just try to guess, and I don't even know why. I just don't wait until March 24th when we find out.
Because it's part of the fun. See, this is like...
I'm such a nerd.
No, because we're all going to go, everybody on 104.5 is going to go through this in 2 months when they start to break down bracketology.
Right.
Before all the NCAA brackets come out, everybody's going to try to have their own seeding.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing right here.
Yes.
Is you're trying to seed the Jazz Fest.
I'm doing the analyzation of Jazz Fest and my guesses, and I'd gotten a rabbit hole of the different rumors that were coming out, and my husband was like, Michelle, just wait. It's coming tomorrow. Just hang in there. Don't get off Reddit.
So I was reading an article at NOLA.com that had everybody like Jelly Roll as a potential.
Yeah.
And, there were a bunch of potentials, but the strongest one they were looking at was Pearl Jam because of that gap in the lineup, and it was nailed. They nailed it.
They did. And Pearl Jam's website yesterday also gave away the date. So far, Jazz Fest has only told us who's going to be first weekend, who's going to be second weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But if there's an artist on there that you like, go to their website. This might be listed under their tour date. So we know that Saturday, May 3rd is going to be Pearl Jam. Are we moving on to the second weekend yet?
Not yet. Okay. I got 2 more on the first weekend
yeah.
before we move on to the second weekend. Who is Burna Boy?
I don't know.
Okay, me neither.
Okay.
All right.
I don't know. Maybe we can ask somebody in the chat.
Yeah. If you're watching on Facebook Live, you know who Burna Boy is because I'm Burna. But also Harry Connick Jr. coming back.
Yeah,
again,
Harry Connick Jr.
I'm kind of fired up about that. The wife and I might have to make the run for that one because we went to that first Jazz Fest after Katrina.
Yeah.
Where Harry closed it out, and it was Harry and Dr. John and Alan Toussaint all coming together, and that's a special time that you relive it every time you go back out.
Yeah, it was a chill bumps moment to be sure.
All right, weekend number 2.
Well, let me back up. So John Fogerty is opening up. So John Fogerty is going to be on April 24th. The first locals Thursday.
Okay.
So 8 days now. they started that last year because to accommodate the Rolling Stones schedule, and I think that they're going to keep it. So Locals Thursday, April 24th, John Fogerty's opening up. My audience loves John Fogerty in center field.
Yes.
I played it yesterday and got pumped their baseball season.
Some that I get fired up about and some that I absolutely do not, and I'm sorry.
John Fogerty's
I'm the wet
one
blanket.
of them? Okay.
I'm the wet blanket on the John Fogerty. All right. Pearl Jam, Luke Combs, Lenny Kravitz, Santana. John knows Cage the Elephant. I don't know Cage the Elephant.
Yeah, we play Cage the Elephant on Eagle. They're awesome.
For sure.
I'm gonna be curious, like, because Cowboy Mouth is on that second weekend too. We know so far that Luke Combs is going to be on Friday. Pearl Jam is going to be on Saturday, and then Lenny Kravitz on Sunday. So to close it out, I predict, because they always close it out with this big trombone shorty encore, and I predict Lenny's going to be on stage with trombone shorty. I just think that we joke in the concert world, never miss a Sunday show.
Right.
Never miss a Sunday Jazz Fest. The closing date is by far one of the most epic moments of Jazz Fest every year.
Okay, I'm Lenny Kravitz, little fired up, but you couple that with trombone shorty.
That's just a guess.
No, but you're onto something here.
Because Lenny Kravitz is the biggest act on that Sunday. He'll be on the main stage, but trombone shorty is always on the main stage to close it out every year. So that's, I don't know, it's just going to be epic.
You mentioned Cowboy Mouth. Cowboy Mouth and Better Than Ezra is just a chance for us to walk through our childhood again.
Yes, Cowboy Mouth does it every year. We watched them last year before Greta Van Fleet, and they were awesome.
Even at 48 years old, I feel like I should get a fake ID.
Why? Well, I think the first time I ever saw Pearl Jam was at the Varsity, and I was in high school, and I wasn't supposed to be there. Yes. And the last time I saw Pearl Jam. So, like, I've never, as an adult, seen Pearl Jam. I just can't, I just can't wait.
This is going to be ridiculous. Okay, there's a couple of them, and we're going to get back into some of the bigger names in a minute, but there's a couple of the names here that really have my attention, and I've got John getting music queued up to go along with it. Give me the first one I mentioned to you, John. Okay, this year at Jazz Fest is going to be the first time without Frankie Beverly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, he passed. So you've got Maze honoring Frankie Beverly with the Legacy Band. And
I didn't even think about that. I need to get my head out of Pearl Jam.
Yes. But he's been a Jazz Fest staple since, or Frankie Beverly and Maze have been a Jazz Fest staple like for as long as I can remember. This is going to be a different show. I think this will be for those who go, and I'm pretty sure they're always on the Congo stage.
Yes,
and that's going to be an emotional show.
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely. A little bit out of the realm of what I'm familiar with, but that's interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, with his passing, that's going to be a little bit different. And then there's one more that caught my eye here that's kind of a throwback to the 80s. And
Chief.
Morris Day and the Time.
I didn't even see that one either.
Oh, no, they're buried midway through. Michelle, look how far down you got to see before you see Morris Day and the Time. Coming to chat. I have no idea when. I haven't gone through per weekend to see when they're landing right there. But Quint is digging deep this year.
He always does. 5,000 bands this year. 5,000.
Is that a record?
I don't know. Maybe. Surely it might be because of the 8 days. And then last year, the Thursday that the Rolling Stones played, it wasn't even a full Jazz Fest show. They were only on that main stage that day. So I wouldn't be surprised if they see a record number this year.
Of course, there's all the staples that everybody goes to see every year, all the brass bands that go out there.
Yeah.
If you've never done the Gospel Tent, you need to do the Gospel Tent.
Gospel Tent is awesome.
Which, I saw Irma Thomas is still kicking and still going.
She'll always go. I wonder if Jonathan Boogie Long is on there. He plays in the Gospel Tent every year, and he is phenomenal. And he's from Baton Rouge. He's one of my faves.
Want to say I saw his name on there. I could be wrong. It's a lot of names all at once.
I'm sure that he does. Samantha Fish, another favorite of mine. Or again, I knew that you have clips, but then Mark Broussard also.
No, those were the only two clips.
Okay.
Those were the only two clips.
That I didn't know.
Mark Broussard is back.
Mark Broussard is back.
That's awesome.
Yes. Joan Jett and the Blackhearts.
Yes.
Also
was
on
another
the
throwback to the 80s
second
for
weekend.
sure.
Cheap Trick. I think Cheap Trick is the first weekend. Yeah, Cheap Trick is the first weekend. But Luke Combs is huge, too. That song, Fast Car, the Tracy Chapman cover,
yes.
That's Luke Combs. So, Combs.
Combs.
I always say it wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that'll be like the Friday show.
Okay, that's Friday the second weekend.
Yes.
All right.
Kenny Wayne Shepherd also on the second weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, My Morning Jacket, another one of my faves.
What
I
is
got
My
Patti
Morning?
LaBelle.
Oh God, I feel so old.
Another
What's My Morning Jacket?
another cult following jam band. Like I'm a jam band girl.
Okay.
And they're really good. So we're trading off here on who we know and who we don't know. Something for everyone.
No,
Back
and
to it.
that's Quint's mission every year.
Yes, it is, to bring out as many people as possible. I was there for the day that Lizzo played. I was on the Robert Plant, Alison Krauss stage. So you've got Robert Plant, Alison Krauss on the Gentilly stage, and Lizzo on the main stage. And that was the first year that they went totally cashless. Oh, it was hectic. I'll put it that way.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
But I have a pro tip here.
Go for it.
And so the Jazz Fest shuttle. Have you ever done the Jazz Fest shuttle?
No.
Okay, so my pro tip is go to the Wisner lot, which is close to the fairgrounds. Park in the Wisner lot. I think it's like $50.
Okay.
And then take the shuttle, which takes you right inside the gates of Jazz Fest, and no line. So you don't have to worry about parking. Like that's what people say. Oh, Jazz, there's no place to park unless they only offer ADA parking.
Mhm.
So you just kind of have to figure it out yourself. But they also run the shuttle, and that is the easiest way to do Jazz Fest by far. Park in the Wisner lot, shuttle inside the gates, no line, and they're kind of loose on even checking your bags if you want to sneak in some booze.
Really?
I didn't say that.
No.
though.
That was not out loud. That did not happen. Okay, we got about 2 minutes to go.
Yes.
The best act you've ever seen at Jazz Fest until now has been what?
Well, I would say Dave Matthews. But so Dave Matthews first, that was one of my first Jazz Fest experiences. Tons of people there. But last year, the Foo Fighters, oh my gosh. And they had originally had to cancel one of their other appearances, and they came back to make up for it last year. It was incredibly emotional, covered Led Zeppelin. I mean, it was epic. Got a ton of friends from work that came. It was just a great time.
Do you think Pearl Jam's going to top it?
Yes. Yeah.
I
think that Pearl Jam is going to top it by far.
Same. All right, last weekend in April, first weekend in May. 8 days the staple now, for sure.
Yep.
And when that 8th day dedicated towards local, so you have 2 local Thursdays now, basically.
Yep, $50 for Louisiana residents, so that's a great deal.
Very awesome stuff. We'll stay dialed in as the cubes and times and stuff come out. She is Michelle Southern from Eagle 98.1. Thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, we got to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll hit the outside end. No, we're not done yet. We do have to hit the outside end. Before we hit that break, got to remind you, Washington Mardi Gras coming up next week. I will be wheels up on Wednesday, heading back to the nation's capital, doing 2 shows a day, Thursday, January 23rd, and Friday, the 24th. Gordy Rush is going to be up there with me, broadcasting live from the Washington Hilton. Our coverage is presented by Presley Wealth Management, Rev, Baton Rouge Metro Airport, and Restore the Mississippi River Delta. We'll come back and close it out with the outside in, stepping outside of East Baton Rouge Parish. Next, right now, here's your Money Now.
That deep breath. That inhale.
I feel like I just fangirled all over the place.
No, that was exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was like, I have to talk about something else on the air, but it's kind of slow. We don't have a lot going on right now. And freaking Pearl Jam, man. I am so excited.
So between Pearl Jam and Foo Fighters, Foo Fighters to me is more adaptive and creative. Like Pearl Jam will go up and do their thing.
Mm-hmm.
For Foo Fighters, it's like you're going to get a once-in-a-lifetime experience because they're not going to do that anywhere else. I wonder how much Pearl Jam's going to do of that because Jazz Fest is supposed to be different.
That's a good point.
I don't know.
It's not like an arena tour.
But then, Eddie Vedder will go to Wrigley Field, which is his passion, and he'll bust out all kinds of crazy stuff. And everybody does at Jazz Fest. So I wouldn't be surprised if they went outside. Everybody always does. But for Foo Fighters last year, it just so happened, like everybody knew I was there, and we posted pictures early in the morning. And that Facebook post, I started getting text messages, we're coming, save us a spot. It ended up being like me, Alondra, Moscona, Daniel, a bunch of his friends. We were all arm in arm. There goes my hero. I mean, it was just like, so I predict more of the same this year. And I told Daniel, I was like, we need to get like a big crew from work because everybody's, already asking me for tickets. Kate, I just got an email from Kate. I would love to go see Dave Matthews.
Yeah.
It strikes me as a Dave Matthews fan.
Oh yeah, I think he is. I think he definitely is.
But really, my best shows were Widespread Panic when I used to follow them around in my 20s.
One band from the 90s I would love to see at Jazz Fest is Counting Crows.
Really?
Oh, that's one of my favorites. Like, that's one of my favorite bands.
Like, Mr. Jones and Alondra's 90s show on Sunday, and it just doesn't fit on Eagle. But
no, they have so many other ones. Like, oh my gosh, they have so many.
I was a fan of Counting Crows in the 90s. But anyway, thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Paul Arrigo just texted.
Oh, God.
Talking about more stay in the time.
Okay.
They played Bon Fett, the first Bon Fett, which was like 20 years ago.
I didn't know that.
So, okay, you remember the movie Purple Rain?
Yes.
That's,
of course.
that was the other band in Purple Rain. You had Prince and the Revolution. You had More Stay in the Time.
Okay.
So, yeah, they were kind of a three-hit wonder, I guess, of the 80s. They had Jungle Love, they had The Bird, and they had one other one. But they kind of got a little boost again when Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back came out.
Why am I drawing such a blank on that?
Oh.
It's urban.
Yeah.
Like hip
Yeah, it's
hop.
R&B, yeah.
R&B.
Yeah.
Just never been an R&B fan.
Yeah. So, and, the Frankie Beverly, that was, to me, that was childhood. My little white ass playing basketball all over New Orleans. Like,
Right.
no matter what gym I went into in NORD, the New Orleans Recreation Department, like whether we were at, say, Rayfields or wherever we were at, like you walk into a gym to go play, a team is going to whip your ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but that song right there, Before I Let Go, I walk into a gym and I hear that song and it just brings me back to being 9 years old, playing against Randy Livingston. Just
yeah.
So I've always had an affinity for Frankie Beverly and Mays, and they've been a Jazz Fest staple up until he passed. So it's gonna be different.
Did Jeff play my voicer this morning? Jeff Palermo, I did a voicer for LRN.
Yes, in the 7:30, I believe. Or no, I think it was 6:30, wasn't it?
Might have been, yeah.
It was 6:30.
Yeah.
Irma Thomas.
Irma Thomas is awesome.
Used to bowl with my grandmother.
Really?
Yes.
Everyone seems to have like an Irma Thomas story like that.
Crazy how she's physically connected to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my grandmother was an avid bowler. She was in like 3
Irma
different leagues
Thomas.
all the way up until cancer wouldn't let her out of bed.
So classy.
And yeah, my grandmother used to bowl with Irma Thomas.
That's crazy.
Isn't that stupid?
It's just funny.
It's like, of all the randomness.
All right.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me on.
No, thank you as always.
John,
good stuff.
good to see ya.
Hey, good to see you as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not accused of being a thief.
All good. There's like a stack of them over here. What? .856 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Man, a lot of fantastic conversations this morning. If you missed any of them, they'll be available on demand at talk1073.com, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. We got to get to the outside in here in just a minute. I do need to give a quick shout out to Paul Arrigo. Used to head up Visit Baton Rouge. Paul let me know during the break. So I Morris Day of the Time coming to Jazz Fest, right? Paul says Morris Day played the first Bon Fett in Baton Rouge, along with Johnny Rivers. There's a combo. Okay. All right. Yeah. No, that's good. We got Jungle Love on one side and Secret Agent Man on the other. We got the Bird on one side and swaying to the music on the other.
That's it, man.
That's a hell of a show right there. Mortis Day and Johnny Rivers.
We'll take it.
I'm guessing they didn't jam together. I'm just throwing that out there. I did like a Jiminy Glick thing with my voice. I don't know what that was. Hey, before we get you to the outside in, got to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. It is carnival time, and Mathern's has got you covered from start to finish. You need a king cake? They've got you. Walk into the Mathern's on campus. You'll see, as you walk in, look to your right, you'll see the giant Mardi Gras tree, okay? Yeah, it's a Christmas tree decorated for Mardi Gras. Underneath said tree are the presents. That would be the king cakes. Whether you want traditional, whether you want stuff with the cream cheese, with the Bavarian, with the strawberry, with the praline, they've got you covered there, too. If you want to go super fancy, they got the Cookie Monster. They've got the wedding cake. They've got you covered. Now, skip right past the king cake and talk about your Mardi Gras ball. Need to bring some food along with you? Matherns.com. Hit up the catering trays. Don't just bring sandwiches. I mean, you can if you want to, but hot chicken fingers, boudin balls. They've got more than 50 to choose from. And then, of course, once it's time to hit the parades, they've got you covered there, too. Downtown on 3rd Street. Actually, the back entrance is on 4th Street, which is right on the route. Mathern's has got you covered in the Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center on LSU's campus or downtown. Time for the outside in. Starting off in the big New Orleans, as the Big Easy prepares to host the Super Bowl next month, Louisiana authorities cleared homeless encampments around the stadium yesterday, relocated many to a temporary warehouse facility it's going to cost some money to operate, but this is part of the prep for the Super Bowl and then Mardi Gras to follow. Stepping outside of the state because of the shark alligator rule, authorities arrested a man after they seized a large amount of drugs and 8 alligators from a Picayune, Mississippi home. Ryan Howard has been charged with drug dealing charges after Picayune police seized more than 50 pounds of marijuana, anabolic steroids, 6 ounces of mushrooms, and 14 guns from his home. They also found 8 alligators who were later taken by the Mississippi Department of Wildlife and Fisheries. The alligators were in the pool in their backyard. Next stop, West Baton Rouge Parish. 2 people were arrested in a drug bust in Port Allen after a controlled purchase. West Baton Rouge Sheriff's Office said this yesterday. Deputies said the suspected distribution took place in a rented room at the Audubon Inn on Lobdell. Deputies identified 36-year-old Derwin Oob and 34-year-old Latrika Como as the suspects. That's the outside in. That's it for us. We're done. Moon's next. Shark alligator rule in effect, y'all.
Man.
Didn't see that one coming. It's been slow. Slow times with the shark alligator rule. You know why? They're definitely seasonal. Well, because number one, alligators and reptiles are cold-blooded.
Well, of course.
It's very rare to have a shark alligator rule on the alligator side in the winter. Number two, no one's at the beach, so nobody's seeing sharks. Right?
Right.
Shark alligator rule is kind of a seasonal rule. The rule applies year-round. We just don't normally see it in the winter, you know? I mean, maybe if somebody was, running into the Atlantic Ocean right now and then they get eaten up by a great white. But you have to think that the sharks probably pattern they time their things around that.
Oh, yeah.
You think
Absolutely.
they're probably in warmer waters right now, maybe a little more equatorial.
One would think.
One might think. Anyway, guys, we're all done for today. I got to put together tomorrow's show because as of right now, I have a semi-confirmed Foodie Friday. And, yeah, that's it. All right. Yeah, I got work to do. We'll see y'all tomorrow.